me and Ryan have been officially welcomed to the jungle that is Barstool Sports.
I brought it toward the Coyotes, and I asked them if it was okay if I joined the Spittin Chiclets podcast full time.
Ryan Whitney's got a pink Whitney out there now.
Hey, this is a sandbagger. Get that on camera.
Heath Yandel, the song man, is a full-time member.
Marley just got an assist from
Chris Beach. Whoa, we're buzzing right now. Sonk.
Welcome, what is up, everyone? We are sitting here. The NHL is back, and you are listening to episode 586 of the Spittin Chiclets podcast, presented to you by Boom, Pink Whitney. Keith's got the real bottle. I got the cardboard bottle. You don't have to look at my face right now, but God, I want to drink this. If it wasn't the morning, I probably would. You know what I'm saying, Biz? You're in Vegas. There's probably people drinking
There's
Pink Whitney
people
right
with
now.
the nips behind us when we had the TNT desk. They were fucking shooting them right before the game.
Let's go. Let's go. Didn't do the Vegas Golden Knights any good in that game, but we'll get into that. And shout out Pink Whitney. And shout out all you fans of Pink Whitney all over the world and wherever you're drinking it. We appreciate it. And get involved in the tailgates. Get involved in the NHL action. Get involved in baseball playoffs. You can drink Pink Whitney anywhere, anytime. 21 years and older, of course. But shout out Pink Whitney. Shout out New Amsterdam. And boys, it's back. We chatted on Monday, or Sunday actually. We chatted, and God, has the NHL delivered the first few nights. I've had a blast watching. Quickly before we get into it, I do want to remind everyone that October is here. So it means it's officially Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We mentioned last episode, 100% of the net proceeds will go towards supporting 5 under 40. We got 47 brands, hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts. So let's buy some awesome merch and buy some ladies some wigs. Right, Keith?
Yes, of
He has
course.
his
That would be
hand up.
amazing.
Okay,
I just
hand
had a
up.
question. The gall on this guy to wear a Mitch Marner jersey,
It's
booed him
unbelievable.
out of town. Booed him
It was
out
my
of
lead
town.
story. Forget McDavid signing. Forget everything. Like, I'm watching this broadcast last night. Very funny content. Biz singing a song saying you stole my guy. You ran the guy out of town, dude.
I made a mistake.
Oh,
I made a mistake.
Oh,
so
I
just
can admit
watching
when I'm
last
wrong.
night.
Try it
Just
sometime. I can admit when I'm wrong, all right? And I made a mistake.
Okay, so one game in person, 2 beautiful assists,
Oh,
and you realize, even with your Leafs getting a big win, like, oh shit.
no, I realized after I said Selkie my dick comment, I think I went a bit overboard when I said that.
That was
And,
a comment I was going to bring up. I didn't know if you remembered that.
Yeah, no, that was probably as bad as it got, and I was just angry in the moment, and it spiraled and chased my guy out of town.
you have to take a lot of responsibility for this.
Oh, fuck. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
The number one voice in the game called this guy out for years.
Hey, listen, I'll spend the rest of my career apologizing to Mitch Marner. I can admit when I'm wrong. Baby, come back. I never meant to hurt you.
How was it
Luther.
being back on set, dude? You're back.
It was great. It was great, man. It was good being back in the saddle. 2 awesome games. I thought that Boston really brought it. The Swayman looked like the old Swayman. Pasternak, fucking worth the price of admission. But I know there's like maybe rumblings. If Boston shit the next couple of years, maybe you could use him as trade bait to work towards the future. You're a fucking full-fledged moron if you get rid of that guy.
They need a guy like you in Boston to boo him out of town.
Yeah.
First of all, I even said before free agency hit that I would give him 13. I would offer him 13 and bring him back. I said that.
Yeah, you
right?
did. You did. Yep.
I did.
Yeah, you
Even
did.
before. But at that point, I think it
1
was
year
too
deal
late.
though.
Right after you said, fuck your couch.
Fuck yo, couch. But then as far as the Golden Knights game in person against LA, like tons of swings, awesome offensive being provided. Getting to see that Barbashev, Marner, and Eichel line in person. I mean, that's going to be a deadly line the entire year. Well, fuck, for the next, like, at least, I think 4. Barbashev signed for, I think, another 4 years. But, I mean, I think anybody, I mean, Corky from Life Goes On could play with fucking Marner and fucking Eichel and put up 40. Like, fuck, right?
Oh yeah.
No?
You think? You think he
100%.
get
I
40?
mean, fuck. I think
At least
I think.
35, yeah.
at least
Hey,
35.
Byfield
So
looked good, eh, Biz?
Byfield is like he's going to take over the reins for Kopitar up the middle of the ice. He is a fucking beast. And like I talked about it on the broadcast, there's not many hockey players that are that big. He's huge, he's enormous, right? So when he first got drafted, he's a little lankier. It's a coordination sport. Not to say he wasn't coordinated, but to get used to your frame and then put some muscle on and then get used to that. I mean, I really feel like last night he looks like he's starting his prime. Like when he picked off that play and ended up going in and scoring that goal, like he'd already been out there for a shift. And then once he picked off the play, he has that 3-4 strides where he just breaks away all of a sudden, and then boom, silky to the backhand upstairs, and an awesome celebration. So just an incredible game. But yeah, Byfield was definitely a standout. Obviously, Kempe is going to be getting his number any day now. I'd imagine he signs in that $12 million range. And it was great talking to Kopi before the broadcast, man. It's sad. This is a guy who's, been a very underrated player. Like, I still don't feel like he's truly gotten his his recognition, right? Like he's
get slapped a little,
with the
just
players.
West Coast,
right? They don't get the proper recognition, where if he was playing in Toronto or Montreal, they'd be fucking jerking this guy off every day. So kind of like Barkov for a while there, where he was flying under the radar. Not so much anymore, obviously, because the 2 Stanley Cups, 3 straight trips to the finals. But yeah, it was great to be back in the saddle and also get to see hockey live. Like, I love, obviously, watching on TV is fun and it's one thing, but getting to see where the game's at and how fast it's being played, it was a fun time. And then, of course, it was fun doing that little bit for our boy Mitchie Marner. This summer, I was in the car and that song came on. And then I was like, Mitchie, come back. And so I texted the guy who works at TNT. I'm like, hey, could we do this and then change the words to Mitchie, come back? And then he reached out to the people who sing it, and they're like, fuck no, you ain't changing my lyrics. So we just stuck with the baby come back. So
Okay.
I thought it was a funny little bit. I don't know. What'd you think?
It's great.
I laughed. I was fuming. It was like the meme of the guy smiling and the face behind. I was like, this, as Keith said, this guy ran this dude out of town.
How are you saying that I fucking ran him out of town?
Well, you just kind of said you
admitted
did
it.
and then
No,
apologized.
but how are you saying it? You're saying like I was bashing him the entire time. I was a
No,
little.
I said you bashed him after every playoff loss. You'd bash him.
Not every loss. Not every loss. Game 3
Every
was
year
the
they
one
got
that I was
eliminated.
pissed off
Season,
about.
when their season ended, I think.
Not every game.
And you know what's so everybody tried to hop on the when he was yelling at the bench. I never hopped on that after Game 7 when he was. Why are you when you close your mouth and you just nod like that? It means you're being condescending. I'm not
being condescending about I'm not being condescending. I'm just listening to you, and
Fuck
I'm saying
you too,
that
Yaz, you fucking pot stirrer.
I don't ever remember you saying a word after he was yelling
I didn't
screaming
say a
at the bench
fucking
in
word.
Game 7. I do remember post playoff losses, series losses, season-ending losses. We could get the clips of you really unloading on him.
The only time,
and I'm pretty sure this show started with you kind of admitting that.
It.
And
I admitted to when the Game 3 was the worst one when I said Selke my dick. Okay, it was after Game 3. It was after they were up 3-1. They just given up a goal. They sent them over the boards, and then he turned it over 1-on-4 at the fucking blue line. It went to the defensive zone. Then he ended up kind of cheating and floating to the bench. Even you were agreeing with me on that one.
I've actually agreed with you the entire time, but I'm not a Leafs fan. And then this all came back to when the song came on. You said, did you like it? I loved it. But I was meme guy with the angry face while smiling on the outside. But now you've come out and said, I messed up. We got no beef here, Biz.
All right.
Did you pay for that jersey?
No, Gary Lawless and the ownership group gave it to me. So thank you to Foley. Why the thumb? The thumb.
I'd love to know how Mitch feels about this.
I stole it from the fucking the merch shop
From Blutman.
at the rink. Hey, it's like, oh yeah, hold my beer, Mark Sanchez.
Oh,
that one's fucking that. This is getting crazier and crazier. By the way, we talked about that last pod a little bit. Like we still kind of didn't know what the actual story was. Whew. I think he's in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to prison. Well deserved too. The guy's 69 years old. Like Mark Sanchez, you just kind of threw away your entire life over a parking spot.
But I will say,
don't do drugs.
If I did cross the line, which maybe I did after the Game 3 loss.
I've done the same thing because I've crossed the line on this pod.
I have. I did, and I did. And I thought Mitch, since it's happened, has handled himself with so much class, just the way he did as a Toronto Maple Leaf, the way that he acted in the community. He came up to the desk, shook my hand. There was no animosity. An amazing kid, and I wish him nothing but the best in Vegas. I think that there is a possibility that they might host the Stanley Cup, or hoist, a Stanley Cup before the Leafs do. I know I've been saying it's our year, but that team, if they add a defenseman, and as good as Aiden Hill's been in the past, I think that if he can get back to those ways, the way that he played during that Cup run, absolutely they can get the job done. They have to address the back end, but that forward group is deep. They got an incredible, well-balanced lineup. They just got to fill in that Petro role and get Aiden Hill back to where he was. And I think that they are coming out of the West. You are obviously bullish on your Oilers, and we will get to you signing McJesus for that fucking charity. That was a charity move. That was Mother Teresa like.
He gets to write it off as a charity.
Well, it's something for me where I get on this show and it's like I've been every one of you, and I'm talking the producers listening backstage right now. All of you idiots. He ain't resigning there. See you later, McDavid. He's gone.
I think if you go, I think
you said he was gone. You said he was going to be in Toronto.
I think if you actually go back, like when I was speaking seriously and not trying to troll you about him going to the Leafs, I'm pretty sure I said I think he signs like a little extension, and he says, you guys fucking figure this out in the short term, and if you don't, bye-bye. I think those were literally my exact words.
Okay, so I just didn't know what was fake trolling and what was real.
Well, I think that, I said he's
you saying he was going to be in Toronto, you're telling me it was a complete joke?
I think that there's a possibility after this is all done, but I think that maybe let's get into it. He signs for 12.5. Like that's probably the biggest bargain in league history.
Maybe
sports history.
Sports history, okay?
Yeah.
I think this is so, it's like if this doesn't get figured out and you guys don't address goaltending and maybe bring in some other guys around me to alleviate a little bit of this pressure that I'm dealing with, not only nonstop, I'm saying peace. And at that point, when he does, even if it's in 2 years and he doesn't finish that third year, because maybe after 2 years, he's like, fuck this, man, I'm done. We're fucking flip-flopping goalies 4 fucking times in the finals. No, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. I need a fucking team around me, other than maybe Draisaitl.
He has a team, Biz. They need a goalie. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I think at that point, he feels then he can say bye-bye, and nobody can hold anything against him. Like him signing that deal was literally saying, I've done my time, and nobody could hold this again. And obviously there'll be a few idiot fans that probably would if he does end up leaving. But would you not agree that this is him just saying, get this done in the next 2 years? If you can't, bye-bye.
It was the ultimate win-win. Like, just first off, talk about taking the deal. I saw that number come in.
I was shocked.
I was speechless. I was like, all right. I was hoping for I was hoping for a 3-year extension, but figuring it would be 2, possibly 1, so he'd have 2 more years maybe. Now he's got 3 more years with this year and the next 2. I was like, all right, 15. I saw 12.5. I couldn't speak. My kids, riders asked me to wives asked me to tie his shoes. I was just like this, hit my phone. They're like, Dad, tie my shoes. 12.5. 12.5. 12.5. I said it over and over. And I was with all the other Oilers fans sitting around shocked, staring at their computer screen or their phone. 12.5. 12.5. 12.5. That is the ultimate. And when you tell me guys don't want to play in Edmonton, take a fucking hike, because Leon re-signed there. Connor's giving it another go. Ekholm then signs a 3-year extension at $4 million a year. He could have got more. Yes, he's a little bit older. He could have got more. Could have got more for sure. You have what Hyman is making, the fact your Leafs didn't want to have him, and just the overall vibe of that team now, going from hey, man, I'm not going to lie. I was kind of panicked. If this season started and he wasn't signed, and we talked to Billy G, a great about 50-minute interview that'll drop this episode.
Yeah, he was bullying me.
Yeah, he chirped me once too. Great guy. We talk about Kaprizov and getting it done before the season started, and he kind of brought up like, not did he say awkward or just like I don't know. It was something where the vibe was off if we went into the season without him signed. McDavid, it would have been even worse. And then the questions, and then if you get off to a bad start, what the Oilers always do, and they somehow managed to lose on Wednesday night, I was like, this is not going to be good. And then that deal comes in, and Wallman's deal comes in, and then the Ekholm signing. And it's like, holy shit, like this team, they're winning a Stanley Cup. They will win a Stanley Cup. And all you idiots, you two, and Army, and Merles, and Pasha, they're winning a Stanley Cup this year or next year. I'm telling you right now.
I think it's going to be harder this year than it will be next year.
Dude, this team is so good. Forget Wednesday night. Forget blowing a 3-0 lead. Forget Darnell Nurse being up 3-0 with 7 minutes to go in the second period.
Don't run him out of town. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes.
Bud, I've been open and honest that a lot of times throughout the regular season last year, Darnell Nurse was playing exactly how they need him to play. And then there's times when he doesn't. Last night was an instance where it was just one play. It's 3-0. There's 7 minutes left in the second period. You're trying to dangle a guy at the offensive blue line. The puck's in the back of your net.
Just don't say Norris my dick. Don't say that. That could do it.
So listen, after seeing talk about a 180 from a week ago. I mean, you guys are on my back. Everyone's saying he's gone. Oh my God, the Oilers are screwed. Like now everyone's there. Everyone's signed. And all it is about is getting a goalie. I'm not going to sit here at any point throughout this year and say that they can win with Stuart Skinner. I've done that prior.
Skinner lost 15 pounds, they said.
I
literally chopped his cock off.
I don't really care. And I think they could get to the Stanley Cup final with him again. I don't think that you can win a Stanley Cup with him as your goalie.
But where are you going to get a goalie?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You don't. Oh, I got a guy. Oldie. Canadian oldie.
Wow. I thought you actually had a guy for a second.
They need some morale in that locker room and net, and I think that
at least an e-bug situation.
But I'm not going to let the goaltending situation, which in last night, it's just the goal the tying goal. I don't know what he was thinking.
Do you think if he tied his skates a little tighter that he would have closed the wickets in time?
That was your take last year, right? Yeah.
Wasn't mine. It was Panger's.
It was Panger's.
Well, he's the one who discovered it. I said maybe if he tightens them a little tighter, it'll help.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now.
He's got Ugg boots on.
That team. And I'm also calling that this year, Connor McDavid will break his highest point total of his career. I think it was 153. I think he's getting 160 this year. Last night, I believe he reached and I'm not a huge fan of this speed burst stuff. All I'm hearing is Bedard's speed burst is a mile an hour faster than ever. I don't really care, but McDavid, I think he hit 24.8 miles per hour out there at one point, and it was the fastest he's ever gone. Not a big deal. Leon got his 400th goal. But the fact that he's signing that deal, can you not? I mean, Sidney Crosby will always be mentioned as a guy who took less, and McDavid figures, all right, listen, I got plenty of money. I'm going to sign a deal for $150 million at some point. I'm going to try to win here. And then if we don't win, there is not one person, as you said, Biz, that can say a word. And if you're an Oilers fan and somehow they don't get one and he leaves, you're an absolute clown if you ever say one bad word about the guy.
I think you're a clown even if after 2 years, because I think it's pretty clear that if they don't get it done in the next 2 years, do you think he's going to end up playing out his last year? I think they would be pretty dumb if they didn't trade him, especially on that number deal that he's making, where they're like, fuck, we haven't gotten it done in 2 years. Get a boatload for him in return that third year.
I don't even know.
That's kind of, I think that's how you have to look at it. Because if you can't.
I'm looking at it opposite. We got to try to, we got him for one more year. We got to try to get one.
Yeah, if you're in the playoffs that third year, you can't trade him away.
No, you're gonna we're riding it out with him, and this is it. And still, no one could say a word about this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And I also can't believe.
I mean, to be fair though,
But what you would get back would be crazy.
That's
Biz.
what
You're
I'm
right.
saying, bro.
I don't know if it would be.
Boys, they've literally been through this. They won a cup after Gretzky left with Mess. They have Draisaitl for 8 fucking years. You can't just look at this linear about, you have to look at that return if you're unable to do it in the next 2 years. And another thing too is he leaves that money on the table. I don't really feel like Wallman left money on the table. I feel like that was a pretty decent tag for
I don't know, Wallman was unreal in the playoffs.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
They have, but the thing is, Biz, they have plenty of dough. They're gonna have over $20 million next summer.
Yeah, and that's fair. And then between him, Darnell, and Bush, you got about what, $28 million?
I know, but at this point, I'm not worried about what's tied up when you have that much available. And also, I'm not gonna let you do this right now.
I'm not
gonna let you. This discussion about the most amazing contract ever signed by an Edmonton Oiler this is not going to turn into trading him at the deadline in 2 years. I'm not letting you do it.
This year. He's getting traded
turned it
this year.
into McDavid's return.
This is what
in
we do,
March
man.
of
It's
2028.
We talk about shit. That's what we do. We open it up just like we were in the
I know,
beer
but
league
this
locker
day,
room.
this is a celebration. This is a celebration. And you've turned it into somewhat of a mini funeral 2.5 years from now. And I'm not going to allow it because it was. Can you at least give me, as an Oilers guy, and to all the Oilers fans out there, that was a special, special day to see that. That was awesome.
Buddy, so this is even crazier. I'm kind of really off the rails this pod. I texted to the group chat. I said, if you could solidify me 2 gold medals, the next 2 Olympics for Team Canada, I would take that and Connor bringing a cup back to Canada before guaranteeing a Leafs Stanley Cup. Now that's also being very patriotic of me because I'm thinking about my country before my NHL club, which I think that a lot of people, especially from Canada and even Leafs fans, would understand that. But just based on the charity work that Mother Connor Teresa is doing for the city of Edmonton, I would love to see him hoist the Stanley Cup. Him being so selfless in doing that for his squad, being the best player on the planet, he deserves a mug. And I know that's not how it works. It's not all deserves. You got to earn, but he fucking deserves a mug. So I can agree with you on that. And I pray. I'm not the most Christian guy, although I'm going to be no jerking, no fucking, a lot of reading, especially the Bible, a lot of Psalms. I will pray that Connor wins the big one.
Thank you. I do think that if you asked Maple Leaf fans if they could get 2 gold medals over the Leafs winning a Stanley Cup, I seriously think 0.1% would take the 2 gold medals over the Leafs Cup.
I get that.
I think you're in the 0.1%.
They'd take a World Series
but buddy,
over
I'm
a Stanley
thinking
Cup.
about it from I feel for this guy because
For the
it's
league and him.
It's literally his life. If he retires without a Stanley Cup,
not doing this.
He won't feel fulfilled, and I want him to feel fulfilled based on what he's provided, not only the hockey world but Edmonton Oiler fans, what he's done for their lives. A lot of people in Edmonton's a beautiful city, the people are incredible, but their lives revolve around the hockey team. That's their life, and they deserve to at least get one more in the near future. Just
they
one.
deserve one with him. They deserve one with him. They do
deserve it.
And God, forget the blown lead. The first period, I was like, holy shit. Usually they get pumped in the season opener. And I was like, this is the power play, just the first power play. They got tic-tac-toe. Nuge looked incredible. Hyman's not even back yet. This Tomasek that wasn't drafted and I think is 30 years old, that played in Europe, looked great. He had the net front spot in the power play. He gave a no-look behind the back dish to Leon for his 400th. That's a nice addition. Isaac Howard's flying around out there. It's a hell of a team. Goaltending, yeah, question mark. Big time question mark. But just seeing him re-sign and just shutting all the haters up. And the fact is, if they can't get it done with him, you go wherever you want. You sign your $22 million a year contract, and every person in Edmonton should be saying, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So he wasn't the only re-signing. Now, I didn't ask Billy G. You see McDavid, that's a different story. But then you see Eichel, 13.5 for 8 years. It's got to be a little frustrating paying 17 to Kaprizov. Now, every situation's different. Like Minnesota, he's homegrown. I'd rather overpay him than lose him. I get all that. But the Eichel numbers surprised me too. I thought that'd be 14 and a half.
15, yeah.
I said
he wants to
14
win.
and a half to 15 and a half, and he definitely left money on the table. Keep in mind, though, I believe if he doesn't sign that when he does, that like currently, what is it? Like when does the 8 years end? At a
After
certain
this, July 1st, I believe, when the new one starts.
Okay.
Check that for us.
Okay, I thought it was even sooner. Therefore, maybe there was a little bit more, I don't want to say pressure, but a little
maybe it
bit
is.
more you got to get it done quicker because that extra year does matter. Right?
Yeah.
Not to say that he wouldn't be making $13.5 million by the time that year 8 comes up, because he'd just be signing another new ticket, which when the cap's at $150 million and he's still got juice left in the tank. But that's another team friendly one, which Luongo had a tweet. He joked about the state tax again. The McDavid deal about that's an anomaly. Like we're not comparing that to anything as far as state tax. That's like literally him.
No,
like
that's
I said,
to win. That's literally
that's
to win. It has
straight
nothing
up to win. Eichel, that one staying happy. I would say he definitely left probably $2 million on the table, and because anywhere else that's what $15 million based on what he's saving.
Biz, I think if Eichel went to free agency, and shout out the death of free agency for superstars.
It's done.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's done.
And we had Connor, we had McDavid coming up, we had Kaprizov coming up, we had Eichel coming up, and right now it's Kempe. He'll be signed, I believe. And then you got Netchis, then you got Panarin. Who knows what happens with those guys? But free agency for superstars is dead, which kind of sucks a little bit for the summertime, looking for some action. But if Eichel got to free agency,
Boston would've gave him
I think
20.
of a team like the Rangers, and Tuesday night, they were fucking horrible.
Brutal.
Like the same exact team from last year on opening night in your building with
100th year.
zero juice.
New jerseys.
And I think I kind of like the jerseys, and I like the
Beautiful.
Bruins away jerseys. It looked like the 80s. But I think a team like the Rangers maybe was holding out hope for a couple of these guys. Like Eichel, the Rangers are giving him 16 and a half, right?
But
Bruins.
you're also
Bruins?
looking at a team who has done such an unreal job of surrounding him with everything that he needs to win more Stanley Cups. Like when you're looking at that situation and where you're living and no state tax, you're saying, why would I move on from here? That would be the dumbest thing you ever did. They literally just brought in the best free agent that was available this past summer to play with him on his wing, setting him up. Like Jack Eichel's typically a playmaker. Well, he's going to be scoring goals this year because he's got another one on his line now. I mean, both of them are going to be setting each other up. Both of them might hit the 40 fucking goal mark the way that they can pass the puck. So I was obviously shocked that he left. Probably, I would say, like for signing with Vegas. Like I thought even in Vegas he could have got 15 and a half if he wanted to.
I think he could have told Vegas kind of like, hey, this is what I want. Similar to how McDavid, it was funny, a number was never even mentioned. He called up They called up Bowman. Here it is. Who in the group chat said he like GM'd the GM? Like, I think Eichel was kind of similar. Like, hey, this is what I want. Could have been a little bit of a discussion, but
Could you imagine Stan Bowman getting that call?
Oh,
and hearing the number, and he'd be like, he probably thought it was false.
I mean, I still haven't tied Wyatt's shoes.
He probably thought it was false calling him, fucking
Seriously?
around. Right?
Imagine his first phone call to the assistant GM, like, hey, dude, Connor just asked me for 12 and a half.
Yeah, they got to like make sure. They're like, Connor, is this really you?
Yeah.
Call us back from a different number. Biz, you are no longer allowed an 8-year deal on September 16th of 2026. So it'll be
Next year.
all next summer as well. You'll be able to sign the 8 years.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
That's G in the chat.
I wish I would have known that before the broadcast last night.
G also says in the chat, Eichel, I'm reading from Mike Grinnell, Eichel grew up a diehard Pats fan, watching Tom Brady take less every year so he could win. Agreed. I also think, like, dude, I think after this deal, he's going to have made $194 million. Like, once again, what is the difference between 230 and 192 when you're talking millions of dollars. I know some people may say 38 million, Whit. I'm a math guy, I know. But I don't think your life changes very much, and I think that Vegas is a wagon of the team, and I believe both of them will eclipse their career high in points this year in Marner and Eichel. Eichel's never had 100 points, I'm pretty sure. Last year was the highest, like 96. He was also top 5 in Selke voting, MVP voting. I hope I'm not making that up. But it's an incredible team. And Eichel is a guy who, he started off with a goal and 3 assists. He looked on his shot on the goal. I think that's why people say shoot more. It was a rocket, one-timer, shelf. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch those two guys play. And then the final big signing, well, actually not the final because I forgot to mention, sneaky middle of the Oilers game, Jack Roslovic signs in Edmonton.
Awesome.
1.5. I thought it might be a little less, like not a big deal, but the guy had over 20 goals last year, right around 20 goals. I mean, they have a deep forward unit. They have a lot of guys that are going to be competing for ice time, and that's what everyone wants. Even last episode, who told us that? Who was talking about the competition within? That's how you create winning. Every practice, you're like, dude, I got to get in this lineup. I got to get more minutes.
I think it was Eric Engels, wasn't it?
It was Engels talking about the power play units for Montreal. So I like Roslovic. I think he could really fit in well there. I don't know what his role will be, but exciting. Then we go to Winnipeg, and they re-signed Kyle Connor, a guy who I actually thought maybe would test free agency, but he obviously loves Winnipeg. He is a consistent 35, 40 goal scorer who just keeps getting better and better. Once Pasha brought up that they didn't play him in the finals of the Four Nations, that made me a little angry and disgusted. I've been thinking about that ever since. I don't understand that move.
You should have asked Billy G about it, pussy.
He would have probably blamed Sully.
Yeah, pass the
Blame
ball.
the coaching staff
Get
on
the
that one.
point the finger before
He's
the
like, I was
Olympics.
making a
That would've been
charcuterie
perfect.
board.
I should have asked
Team
him.
USA
Fuck.
falling apart before Italy over
Yeah.
Kyle Connor's scratch. But what did you think? Like $12 million, 8-year deal? More than fair?
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. He seems like the type of guy who loves flying under the radar and living in Winnipeg and just a gamer. Like, I just love watching him play. He's so shifty. Not the biggest guy, but plays a big man's game. And I love him. We had him on and he just seems like the most chill guy. And I'm happy for him. And I feel like that's a good number. And that's kind of where I feel Kempe will end up at. I feel like Kempe's going to be a 12 million guy too. So,
and we said maybe 10, like in the middle of last season.
I said he's getting at least
I think
10
12's
last
the
year,
new
and
10.
you guys laughed at me.
I know I did. I laughed at you, and then I saw him in the playoffs again. I'm like, all right, Biz, I'm with you, 10. And then these numbers keep going. So mind you, Connor's coming off a deal. I think it was a 6-year deal, maybe 7 at 7.1 a year. Now he's got an 8-year deal at 12. So he's over 150 million for his career. Like,
He's the richest guy in Winnipeg.
It's pretty fucking
100%.
wild what this is turning
He might
into.
buy the Blue Bombers.
It does amaze me. Like, if you look at him, he's a small, skinny guy, but like you said, Biz, he plays a big man's game. Like,
Isn't he pretty tall? I thought he was like
He's pretty.
6'1".
He seems like he's dense, like hard to knock off the puck, strong on his edges.
it's really good on his edges.
It's kind of like McDavid. Like they're wiry.
just so good on their edges.
Yeah, the edge work. 6'1", 183. Yeah, so I mean, who knows how accurate the weight stuff is online.
He's
I
all
mean, it
cock
says
and
I was
ribs.
220 when I played. I never
Greyhound.
sniffed 220 till 3 years after retirement. I was drinking IPAs. Why am I gaining weight? Somebody's like, every IPA is a Big Mac. Okay. So Kyle Connor, don't worry about him with the IPAs. But Winnipeg Jets fans, we'll get into your team right now.
Yeah.
We'll get into the previews, boys. And we have Billy Guerin going over Minnesota with us. We have your guy's boy, Bob Heethuis. He's going to join us for, I think, Utah, Chicago, St. Louis, and maybe one other team. But we could start with Winnipeg and Nashville. But we're us three. We're going to do the big heavy hitters in this division. The Winnipeg Jets. Every single year, I'm like, God, it's a good team. I don't consider them at all Stanley Cup threats. I'm sticking by that again. I know Winnipeg fans don't love hearing that, and many times, I'm wrong on this show. So you could actually maybe enjoy the fact that I think they can't win the Stanley Cup, but I like the team. I think losing Ehlers is going to hurt a lot, Biz, but I'm most excited to see Jonathan Taves.
100%.
Yeah.
That is talk about a cool storyline forget just the hockey, what he's been through in life, and we've talked about it a lot, but he's back. He's back in his hometown. He's playing in front of an incredible crowd. Let's see what he has in the tank. I don't know what your Biz, give me your number one thought when you think of the Winnipeg Jets.
I think we're going to see in the regular season exactly like we have the past few years.
Yeah.
They're just going to dominate. Hellebuck's going to play like a Vezina goalie. Agreed with you on the Jonathan Taves thing. Like that's the biggest thing I'm zoning in on. It sucked last year during playoffs to see Scheifele go out for the few games where I felt like all of a sudden Nemestikov's put in a tough spot where he's got to play on the top line as center, where I just feel like they're slotted perfectly. Excited to see Nyquist and what he can do there. And then, they just got that. I love that third line. I mean, it always goes back to that third line, right? Like, I feel like their top three lines are just fucking horses. They come at you. Their power play's nasty. I feel like we always maybe question their depth on the back end a little bit. And is there maybe like a deadline move that they could make? But I still view this as a top 4 team in the Western Conference. Devastating loss last year in Game 7 against. They advanced. They beat St. Louis. My apology. And then they got worked. One. Yeah, they got worked in the next one. But
it went to 6. It went to 6 against Dallas. But I hear you.
Didn't feel like it was close. But this is pretty much a carbon copy outside of a few guys of what we've seen in the past. And they're going to do what Winnipeg does, and they're going to dominate in the regular season. So, interested to see what the playoffs hold.
Kind of the Leafs of the West, in my opinion, like unreal during the regular season, then kind of fall off a cliff in playoffs. But I what I'm looking forward to the most is Scheifele. Like, he got snubbed of the not snubbed. He didn't make the 4-nation team. He's going to come out absolutely humming, trying to make that Olympic team. Like, he's a guy that wants to be on that team. He's vocal about it. He loves it, loves his country. So I think for him, he's going to come out absolutely humming early in the season. And then, like you guys said, it's all wait until playoffs. See what the big boys can bring there. See if Hellebuck can shut down other teams, because the West is a beast once playoff starts. But yeah, during regular season, they're obviously getting in. They're gonna be great all year. Tough building to play in, but can they do it in playoffs? Busy.
It looked like they had maybe a couple injuries coming. I don't know if Lowry's off the IR, and then a guy that I would imagine is going to have a huge year was Cole Perfetti. Another year of experience under his belt, and a lot of expectations after they signed him to that deal last year. So they've done such a good job of filling in holes. I love that Velarde pickup too when they got him over from the Kings. That was an awesome move. So just a deep roster, and I love the way that they play. They just fucking wear you down. Great cycling team, and I don't think many surprises from them.
No, I think Lowry being out to start the year, your captain, your leader. I think it was like off-season hip surgery. That'll be big when he gets back. I'd be shocked if they win the Central again, though. I don't know. I just look at it like, yeah, they got the best goalie in the world, at least in the regular season. But I look at Colorado and Dallas, and I said it last year, though. I didn't, so who knows? Maybe they repeat it again. And the thing about Taves is, not only am I excited to see him, and I think the entire hockey world's looking forward to seeing him play again, but it's not just like, hey, he's coming in playing fourth line. Like, he has to play really good, too. He's very important to them. They lose Ehlers. If he's center in the second line with Perfetti, and then Nyquist, that's the line I'm looking at right now. Like, they got to be good, because they can't just rely on Connor, Scheifele, and Velarde. So I think it's a great team. I think it's a playoff team, no doubt. I think we all agree on that. Winning the Central, I don't see that happening again.
I think the Central might be the deepest overall division, maybe even more so than the Atlantic. Like, I think
their head-to-head is legit.
Like, Utah is they're coming up, man. They got a lot of weapons. Like,
what will Nashville do?
St. Louis is never an easy game because of how hard they play. I mean, we just talked to Billy G, Colorado, Dallas. Like, I think that overall, this is going to be the toughest division. I still see them as a top 4 team in the division, though. Maybe even the West. I think that they finish 4th in the West would be my guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So definitely have them as a playoff team.
Playoff team, no doubt. Yance?
Yeah, I got him in for sure.
Okay. All right, well, we're moving over to Colorado. They looked so good the other night. Like, that team, they're so fast. They're so skilled. McKinnon came out of the gates like I guess we're used to seeing him, just a rocket. He's flying around. I also saw the clip where I think Crosby's interviewing him and McDavid called himself choppy. What the fuck were we if he was choppy? Imagine him describing like me and you, Briz. At least Yance could fly. Like, if he looks at himself like choppy, that's a really, really disgusting thought, thinking of my own skating back in the day. But Elliot Friedman mentioned the next thing we're looking at here is Cale Makar's contract. That's an exciting storyline. Like, the amount of money he's going to get, I think Elliot wrote it might just be blank check style. Craig Leopold to Kirill Kaprizov. This team, I think, is Merles has him winning the Stanley Cup. They're in a top 5 favorites to win the Stanley Cup for me. Maybe some question marks, but with McKinnon and Makar, even losing Rantanen and having the heartbreak of him beating you in Game 7, the third period of Game 7, having that happen, I think the drive on McKinnon to win more, and they're going to, I think, win the division. That's my division winner pick. And I'd be shocked if the Oilers don't see him in the conference final.
How good did Natchez look first game?
He looked like he was fucking
show.
flying out there.
And this is the last year of his deal, right?
Oh, yeah. He's going to, I would say that with the way the cap's going, he might even surpass that Rantanen number.
That
now,
would be...
some people may argue, like, who would you want, as Kadri tweeted out, you never get rid of the dogs. Who would you trust in a playoff environment more? But I think with how young he is and just like where the game's going with the speed, he is an absolute dynamo. And he's only going to get better and more comfortable in that setting. Last year, obviously, a lot of movement for him. And yeah, he's still settled in nice there. But I think he's going to easily come in at that 12 number. And he's kind of got them he's kind of got them by the balls. Yeah, you can't make an aggressive move like that. And all of a sudden, you don't end up signing Natchez, right? So he's got a little bit of the control in that stance. Nelson, I mean, I always look back to them getting rid of Kadri, especially with what he would be making now for salary. And last year, I think he was over 30 goals, and them probably regretting not signing him when it was time. But Nelson's a gamer. He came over last year at the deadline. I think with being settled in for 1 year, he'll be a little bit better and more productive. And now he gets to play with the fucking big Russian machine. And Landeskog has got his game legs underneath him. So they got two really, their top 6 is fucking unbelievable. One guy that looked pretty impressive on the fourth line was that Gavin Brindley kid.
Brindley, yeah.
So yeah, he played at Michigan, and Keith, Chris Bork told me that was like his favorite player his draft year. I believe he was like a very high 2nd round pick to Columbus, and they moved on from him. Could make a big impact, and with that kid's speed, like that's the kind of the perfect roster for him to be on, Biz. They're just like, that's probably the number one thing that stands out is just how fast they are. And then like Ross Colton, who dealt with injuries last year, he fucking flies. Another guy everybody forgets about in that deal with Carolina is Jack Drury, where he's a little bit older, more experienced. I love him. The Victor Olofsson experience, I guess, necessarily didn't work out in Vegas. Trying to get him back with Jack Eichel and maybe develop that chemistry back that they had in Buffalo. But, hopefully he can contribute there. But I think that this roster and the fact that they did kind of the overhaul that they needed to do last year and that these guys are settled in, I think that these guys are poised to probably win the Western Conference. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they finish first. I think that I view them a little bit deeper than Edmonton. Maybe not so much as Vegas up front, but like their back end better. And I feel like that their goaltending is a little bit more stable right now. So Colorado is my team in the West. And also, I don't want to say hot seat because he's such an amazing guy and amazing coach, but I think that with the fact that I don't think that they've been to the Western Conference Finals since they hoisted that cup. And with that type of lineup comes pressure. And I think that management should take a little bit of responsibility for that, maybe as well as coaching. So we'll see if they don't get off to a hot start,
would that be the type of team that would be desperate to go get a guy like DeBoer quick, right? Like DeBoer is an anomaly right now. Like he's sitting there and you got to imagine a team is waiting to pull the trigger to get him because there's a few teams looking to hoist the Stanley Cup that they think that they have rosters at least looking to make that next step. Like I look at New Jersey, like if they don't get off to a hot start, could he end up back there? Like I think that my hot take is I don't think there's a chicken dick's chance that Pete DeBoer is not a coach behind an NHL bench by the time December 1st rolls around. Like there's no fucking way.
December 1st, yeah.
Agreed.
That's so
with this league, with how it happens now for coaches, I completely agree.
And I think that Colorado is going to get off to that hot start. I think that if they don't have any type of playoff success or at least get to the Western Conference Finals, could Bednar's job be on the line? I don't know. I love the guy, and I think that he would get picked up in 2 fucking seconds. But when you have dogs like that in your lineup and you're not at least getting to the Western Conference Finals, like they can't fucking these guys have their salaries locked up. They ain't fucking trading McKinnon and McCarr. They ain't right. Am I crazy for saying this?
No, I never even thought of it that way, but it makes a little bit of sense just because I know how much all the guys love him there, right?
He's the
it
best.
Seems anyways, and never thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess that does add a little bit more pressure to that group because of what he has, right? But it'd be interesting to see December 1st, man. So are you rooting for them to not start good? You want
I want them. I would love to see Nate win another one.
Yeah.
It is nuts though, Biz. They won it, then they lost to Seattle in the first round. Then the year after that, they lost in the second round, and then last year they lost in the first round. So yeah, you're looking at McCarr and McKinnon dominating all of those years, and you've won one playoff series. It is kind of crazy to think about that. It is a group with a lot of pressure on them.
The one pickup that I absolutely love is Brent Burns, and the fact that he's even still playing. I believe this year he's going to hit over the 1,500 game mark.
Crazy. And he doesn't miss games either. I think he played. Yeah,
he's a horse, and he could still play 20 minutes a night. So any type of maybe holes they had in their lineup on the back end last year, I really like that top 6 or that the top 4, excuse me. I love Sam Girard. I think he's a water bug out there, good puck-moving defenseman. Now he's got a guy like Brent Burns to complement him. Another thing, too, I love from Burns, like maybe he's not hitting the net all the time, but he's getting his shots through. Like he's not getting them blocked and they're going back the other way. So even if they're fucking hitting the backboards, who gives a fuck? You're keeping it alive, and at least you're giving your forwards a chance to fight another day. So I really like that move that they got him in the offseason. And, he had a good run in Carolina, but just insane the fact that this guy is still playing hockey.
It really, the Manson hit. That's what I was just going to say. Like he's a guy that, you look at their D, they're big, they got big guys and then, a couple little water bugs, and they are going to be scary to play against. Like Brent Burns is a mean bastard on the ice. Josh Manson is a mean bastard on the ice. Like once playoff starts, those guys, that's when they come to life too, right? So they're going to be a fun team to watch. I hope the best for them. I think they're going to win the Central. I think they got a real shot at winning the Cup as well. Maybe 1 or 2 moves away, maybe a bottom 6. I know, Biz, you love getting those bottom 6 guys in at the deadline to help you win.
I just like saying bottom 6.
Yeah, same.
I think a lot of pressure's on Blackwood. And I think he's also a guy that could be in the mix for one of those 3 goaltending spots with Team Canada. I don't know, Biz is our Canadian. Maybe he could tell me to kick rocks on that one, but Blackwood...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They could put anybody in there. They could have a fucking shooter in there.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to Dallas, in which there's an incredible American goalie there. That is Jake Ottinger. The Dallas Stars, guys. Like, I look at them, incredible team. So fun to watch play. I also think, like, the way Edmonton has just kind of taken care of business from them the last 2 years, they don't scare me a ton. This is Oilers' voice, Oilers' brain talking. Dallas does not scare me. They don't. I'm sorry. But they're right. They're going to be right there the entire season. Let's see what kind of step Wyatt Johnston makes, right? Can he pot 40 this year, right? It sucks not having your captain, Jamie Benn, in the lineup to start the season. But you got Heiskanen back. He had to battle those injuries last year. You know what happened with him, and him being out, such a killer. But it's a deep team, a deep roster with one of the top goalies in the league. is it Glenn Gulletson? That's his name, correct? New coach in there, new voice. It's kind of the same old thing though with Dallas. Like, I just know they're going to be really good all year. They're going to be in the playoffs, and then like, can they beat Edmonton? Can they beat Colorado again? Like, it's a tough division, but there's not much to say because I think everyone knows come the end of the regular season, you're going to be saying Dallas Stars, yeah, they could win the Stanley Cup. It's hard when you're talking about a team like that, Biz.
I kind of agree with you where I'm less bullish on them than I have been in years past. Yeah, I think they're a little bit weak on the left side. And just, I don't know what's going to happen. There was rumors that they were going to maybe move off Jason Robertson
for a while now.
Although when they do get cold offensively come playoff time, he seems to be the only guy that's scoring goals for them. So it's kind of, I know it's a little contradictory. So when you're saying they need clutchness, he's the one coming through and no one else really is. You know, I think there's also a lot of question marks as you get deeper into playoffs with some of the guys that they have on their roster and whether they can get it done. And I think that, like you said, having Jamie Benn not in the lineup due to that collapsed lung, like he's kind of their fearless leader and kind of calms things down in the locker room. You know, when they maybe need a guy to go grab a guy and fucking, you know, play aggressive, and you know, when they need a big play or something to be said in the locker room, like he's not going to be around, but that'll definitely be a bolster to the lineup as the season progresses. I think that they have some young guys now that have to really, I mean, Wyatt Johnson's done a lot in his first, 3-4 years or whatever it's been, right? So I don't think we're questioning that. I think that playoff time last year, he did struggle a little bit, more so than in years past. What's going to happen with Maverick Bourque? Right, is he's a guy we've been talking about for a few years. Is he's going to be part of this core group. So, I 100% think this is a playoff team. I don't think anybody's questioning that. I just think you probably, if you're not a Dallas Stars fan and you're not a complete jock sniffer of this team, you're saying we're not as big of a threat now as I believe we've been in the past. After losing Tanev,
Marchment,
like I don't understand that one. And him going to Seattle, but obviously having a clear cap space. Like, to me, moving off of Robertson and keeping a guy like Marchment and then having a little bit more cap space to work with would have been the play. But, he's, I think that Robertson's a restricted free agent at the end of the year.
And so is Harley, I think.
Harley signed a big ticket.
He did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Harley signed his big deal.
So do you think their window's closed?
He has. They haven't paid Harley, I guess is what G's saying. I thought I saw that he signed this summer, but
no, he's making $4 million, dude.
Wow.
So that's probably why they're gonna have to they're gonna have to part ways with Robertson, is because they need money in order to pay Harley. Harley's gonna be with a guy like Luke Hughes making $9 million. What the fuck do you pay Harley?
Yeah.
10.5. Bouchard just got that.
Yeah, I mean,
but then they're probably saying you can't make more than Heiskanen.
Yeah.
So, Biz, you think their window's closed in Dallas, or you think they're a piece away, or?
No, I think that, could they end up winning a Stanley Cup? Sure, they have the pieces. They have a number one D. They have a number one center.
Totally.
They have Rantanen. I think it would take a big move, and then Maverick Bourque, Wyatt Johnson taking the next step, and just everything really, really coming together. I think that a deal at the deadline will have to be done, but we say that, but they don't have any cap space. So what can be done? What big alterations can be made? So I just don't view them as big of a threat. And I think that Vegas looks stronger. I think that Colorado looks stronger. I would say that I probably, even with a healthy lineup, have a little bit more trust in Winnipeg than I have in them. So I see them as probably like a 6th seed, a 3rd seed in the Central this year, if not a wild card.
I'm interested to see Rantanen, right? Because he was in Colorado, he wasn't the number one guy. You have McKinnon, you have Makar. Like, he's obviously a key piece to that team, but for him, he's the guy there now, right? He's got to lead them. He's got to get them into the playoffs. Got to get them to win rounds. So I'm interested to see if he can make that step. Obviously, we know he has the ability to do it, but if he can do that, put the team on his back and be like, all right, I'm the number one guy here. I'm the superstar here. Let me handle this. Then they're going to be obviously a lot better off. But it'll be interesting to see if he has that in him to take that step.
I don't think Ottinger deserved really any criticism for the way that last year played out. I think we were all shocked at the DeBoer comments. Do you guys view there as being a little bit more added pressure on Ottinger moving forward here, especially come playoff time, now that they've parted ways with, in my opinion, probably one of the best coaches, probably a top 5 coach over the last decade in the NHL with, hey, maybe he hasn't hoisted Lord Stanley, but the amount of trips to the finals, the amount of success he's had with every team that he's gone to and how he's been able to turn it around. Like San Jose, he went to the finals with New Jersey, Vegas, like fucking what he did with Dallas. Like everywhere that Pete DeBoer has gone, he's had success and been a pretty calm demeanored coach until, I guess, a certain point. So they got the new guy at the helm. I don't view them as big of a threat without Pete DeBoer as I do with him behind the bench.
And it should be mentioned too, like they're lucky, and great work by Jim Nill. Heiskanen makes 8-4, so like you have an enormous bargain with one of the top defensemen in the league, and Harley's probably going to be making more than him. Like they can't. I know you could sit there and say like you can't make more than Heiskanen, but he's like, sorry, look at these guys around the league. Like you got a great bargain with him, and it might not happen with Harley. So. With that, I think it's time to talk about the Minnesota Wild with one of our favorite GMs in the league, an all-time legend, Billy Guerin, joined us just before we started recording. We chatted about his summer. We chatted about the squad, chatted about the Olympics a little bit. So perfect
New
time
hobbies.
to throw it over, right? And his new hobby. Very interesting
And
new hobby.
I want to keep everybody in mind here that like there was something going on between the 3 Americans against the 1 Canadian here. I don't know if this was pre-planned in a text thread, but clearly they're feeling a little threatened going into an Olympic year. I really, really like where we're at as far as Team Canada right now, the way that this interview went. Just keep that in mind before you listen.
With that, let's throw it over to Billy.
Off to Billy G.
Guys, we got to talk about sport clips. It's a classic rookie mistake that's constantly made. And that's not going to Sport Clips haircuts. Guys come in looking like they've just been sacked by a 250-pound linebacker, but walk out looking like a first-round pick. Sport Clips stylists have the playbook for a clean cut. They've mastered the X's and O's of men's hair, and with the MVP haircut experience, you get a hot steam towel, a massaging shampoo, and that precision cut. It's the whole 9 yards. When you step into Sport Clips, you're walking into a zone for guys. The games are on. The stylists just get it. This is a place designed for guys to win and to walk out with a haircut ready for the highlight reel. Don't make the mistake of getting your haircut cut anywhere else. It's Sport Clips haircuts. That's where you got to go. Sport Clips. It's a game changer. Guys, hockey is back. We all know it. We all love it. And this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, all the skill, and all the nonstop action that you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player props to the thrill of live in-game betting, every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $200 in bonus bets instantly. $5 bet? Have that thing win, you're cheering, and you check your account, $200 in bonus bets instantly into your account. Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Chiclets. That's code Chiclets to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Welcome now to a very special guest, a great friend of the show, an all-time guy, GM of the Minnesota Wild, Bill Guerin. Billy G, what's going on?
Not too much, fellas. Not too much. Just getting ready for tonight's season opener in St. Louis.
It's got to be nice. I guess we're going to get to Kaprizov right away, that you're starting. You're in Clayton right now telling us getting ready, and he's signed. It would have been, it had to have been a little stressful if this thing began without him locked up, right?
Yeah, I think it would have just been uncomfortable for everybody. I mean, you could kind of feel it anyways in camp before it actually got done. And Look, it was big stuff. It was big news. Everybody wanted to know what was going on, if it was going to happen, if it wasn't. And that's just kind of like it's nobody's fault. It's just like a little cloud hanging over everything. So in so many ways, it's good that it's done and behind us.
I was going to start with just asking how you're doing, buddy, how your summer was. Let's ease into this thing. I mean, we were talking before you hopped on about the time you had us over.
I'm a fucking journalist, Biz.
You know what? Wits just turned into this media monster.
Hey, Billy, wait till you see next. I'm gonna be grilling politicians too.
Biz, you're always just talking from the heart. You're always just thinking about other people.
We were talking about the time you had us over and you like grilled us up steaks and everything. RA was building Star Wars Legos in your office with the Chewbacca mask on.
Yeah, I don't think RA could have put 2 Legos together that night.
Oh, we were all crippled. we were all having a good time.
That was a good night. That was a good night. We'll have to do it again.
What do you do in order to de-stress in the summer? Like, where do you go? Do you like hit up like a cottage? Like, what's your main spot that you go to?
Yeah, my wife's from South Jersey. And we have a place at the Jersey Shore, Ocean City, New Jersey. We're like 10 miles south of Atlantic City. And we did a couple 2-week stints out there, back and forth a little bit. Our kids use it quite a bit. It's awesome. We've been going there. I've been going there for just over 30 years when I met my wife. So it's that's kind of our place. Yeah, in the summertime, we go back and forth because Minnesota is great to be in the summer too. I mean, I used to think the guys from Minnesota were insane that, they would talk about these lakes and this and that and all because I didn't get it. I mean, I grew up going to Cape Cod, and then, when I met my wife, we started going to the shore, and then I moved out there, and it's an unbelievable way of life in the summertime. Like, it's like the boating and just jumping into fresh water was the weirdest thing in the world for me. I never really did it growing up. It was always salt water, but it's awesome. And like Lake Minnetonka is crazy. I mean, they're massive too. So we love it there in the summertime. So going back and forth is, we get the best of both worlds, really.
Whit and Yans, is Cape Cod kind of like the white trash Nantucket?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's probably some areas
Billy made more money than all of us, so I don't think he'd be going anywhere white trash.
That's not true.
I think there's some areas, Biz, that we could say that, but no, there's some areas no.
Okay.
Every area has a place.
Okay.
Right?
I was just trying to get those two going.
Billy's 10 miles from Atlantic City. Should see Atlantic City. That's what he does to de-stress. He goes to the fucking casino at AC and just plays
Atlantic City's not in great shape, but we go. No. Atlantic City's got like some unbelievable restaurants though. Like, you'd be shocked. It's, you just got to watch your back.
Your car will be up on blocks. Now I would imagine while you were in either, New Jersey on the shore or back in Minnesota, is this when you started fielding calls with Kaprizov's agent? Now, is Kaprizov's agent Russian?
No,
okay,
he's American.
He's a North American guy?
He's American, yeah.
So originally you guys sent over the 16 million and that got shut down. Like, from a GM standpoint, are you like, fuck?
Nah, not quite like that. No, you know what? You can't get angry. You can't get frustrated. I mean, obviously you do get a little, I think, more frustrated than anything, trying to figure it out. If you're angry and pissed off, you don't make good decisions. So you always have to kind of take a step back. It's tough. You have to try to put yourself in his shoes, and I think the important thing too is to have conversations with the players. I don't negotiate with the players, but I need to have conversations with them to find out, where they're coming from. Kirill's a great guy. He's a great person, good to talk to. And, he just said like, hey, look, this is a big decision for me, regardless of the money. This is the rest of my career pretty much. And, when he said that, it kind of gave me a little like peace or comfort, because I'm like, you know what? Good for him. He should be thinking long and hard about this, because it is pretty much the rest of his career, and he's going to be tied to us, and he has to make sure that this is the place he wants to be. And I don't know, I probably would have just signed whatever, but it's good that guys think like that now, and they take the time and they think about their life and their where they want to position themselves. So it took a little longer than I think everybody would have liked, but in the end, he made the decision to stay in Minnesota. And that's big. Like he could have gone to free agency. He could have asked for a trade. He could have done all those things, but he decided to stay in Minnesota because he loves it and he believes in what we're doing.
Now, did it make your job easier or tougher when the owner basically came out and said, here's a blank check, Kirill, do what you want with it?
The one thing is that you can't deny Craig Leopold's passion and his desire to win. And you know what? He gets in front of the camera every couple times every year. And the beauty of him is that he just speaks from the heart. And you know what? Did it make it easier or difficult? I'd say neither. Like, it's just, those are his comments. Those are the way he feels. He owns the team. He can say whatever he wants. And you know what I mean? If you really think he's sitting there with like a blank checkbook, just ready to write a check, you're out of your mind.
I thought it was one of those big ones.
Yeah, it was a big one. Like in
much,
Happy
Billy.
Gilmore. Yeah, and Happy Gilmore, like you give him a big check, you know. You know what? Craig's a passionate guy. He's a passionate owner that wants to win, and he realized the importance of having Kirill on the team.
The great part for you is, like, I look at all the contracts. Everyone's pretty much locked in now. Like, there has to be a relief for you. It's like, all right, let's go here. Let's get everything going. But to have all these guys, all your core there and locked in, it must make your job a little easier, because then it's like, all right, little additions. What can we do here? I'm not panicked about any enormous signing we got to do. I guess till Booyam comes up, but even then, you have Faber, you got Boldy, so that's got to be nice.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think we're positioned pretty good. Now we've got Kirill basically for the next 9 years. You know what? Boldy's for the next 5 or 6. Eriksson Ek the next 4 or 5. Spurge has got a couple left. Middleton's got 4. Brodin's got I think 3. Faber's got 8.
And Gustafsson, we didn't even bring up yet.
And Gus just signed a 5-year extension, so we got him for 6. Wall said for the next 2 at a good number. So I don't know. I think our, Rossi for 3. And then we've got a bunch of young kids coming up that are, still in their entry level deals. So, I like where we're at right now. We have flexibility in the cap, and, we'll be able to kind of be in the game now without the empty cap hits that we've been dealing with for 4 years. So I'm excited about our future.
We were joking around about how camp kind of drags out a little bit sometimes as players, and then now even as a GM. But obviously, you get the opportunity to watch some of these guys you're hoping take the next step. Like, who are you the most excited about to see go this season, where you think that they have a lot more to give based on maybe what you've seen in the past, and just like maybe the way that they handled their summer, and where they're going to probably exceed people's expectations this season?
Are you talking about younger guys or just anybody?
Yeah, like I feel like Rossi's a guy whose names came up quite a bit, where you could see every year over year, like, he's always had that speed and that low center of gravity and agility. Like, is he a guy that you're expecting to have an even bigger breakout year? So maybe more so from those young guys. Like, I thought that Booyam did a pretty solid job coming in last year, but maybe it's a little overwhelming. You're coming in around playoff time and everybody's at the top of their game and you're coming from college. So is he a guy where you're like, oh, after getting one camp under his belt, you feel like he might be the next Brock Faber?
Jesus, I forgot what the question was. You just went on and on and on.
Well,
I go direct. I go direct, and he's beating around the bush.
No, I'm asking you who you're most excited about as far as
blink twice if you're alive, Billy.
Can you do that whole thing again?
Christ. What do you got, ADD?
Yeah,
do you want to take an Adderall and we can restart this thing?
You just gave him ADD.
Are you excited about any of your goddamn young fucking players, Billy G?
Are you excited that question's over?
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Biz, I'll tell you what. you know what? Yes, I'm excited for a guy like Marco Rossi. He's got a 3-year runway now to really kind of take his game to the next level. You know what? He's getting a great opportunity now. He's going to be playing with Kaprizov and Boldy. That's a pretty good spot.
That's winning the lottery.
You know what? I'm excited to see, our young guys. We've got 5 young guys right now. We've got Buyam, Juracek, Urov, Ogren, and Wallstead. You know what? And actually 6. We've got Hunter Haight as well, who's on call. Who's going to kick the door in? Who's going to make an impact? Like, we need these guys to, like, you know what? If you want an opportunity, here it is. You're in. Like, kick the fucking door in and show us that you're here and that you're serious and you can help us win. Don't just dip your toe in the water, jump right in and try to be an impact player. And you know what? The other guy, you know what? Ryan Hartman, for me, Ryan played his best hockey for us last year in the playoffs. That's the best I had seen him play. I mean, he had everything. He was disciplined. He was composed. He made the right decisions with the puck. He was just so good all around. And you know, he's been challenged. You know, can he do that again? That's what we expect of Ryan right now. So I'm anxious to see how he gets off to the start of the season.
Well, a couple things. What a question by me, and secondly, what a fucking answer. I mean, can you please clip that, G?
The answer was shorter.
Honestly, the fact that I could pick out what the actual question was, I would say, incredible by me.
Good retaining.
Pretty impressive.
And what a good question.
You came on last year just about this time. You're a guy for the season previews, and you talked about Boldy, and he had more points in his career than the previous year. He's gone up every single year. Now I kind of want to know, you mentioned Juracek, and you traded a lot for him, 6th overall pick. Now you got Faber, Buyam, him, 3 young D in the lineup. Like, what do you see as his ceiling, like a player that maybe you played against that you kind of see how he plays?
Oh man, that's a really
that's
good
hard
question.
hitting.
Wit, that's a really good question. And you didn't
No, you
take
fucking
4 minutes.
Americans stick together, eh? All
You
right.
didn't take 4
Mass
minutes
boys.
to get it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to help you out.
Thanks, Biz.
You're welcome.
You know what, David, you know what? Honestly, I think, you know, with his, he's just got so much raw ability right now. I think he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he could be, but his offensive instincts and his puck moving ability and, like they're really high end. What we're trying to work with him right now is using that talent, using that raw ability within the confines of the team structure. You know what I'm saying? Like, be where you have to be, put the puck where everybody, you know, when everybody's going to their places, that's where we have to put the puck. It's not just going back for a puck and figuring it out as you're on your way back there with pressure on you from guys forechecking. We have a system. Play the system and use your skill inside the system. I think that's the biggest thing right now that he's got to work on, or the coaches have to work on with him. But as for raw ability, I mean, the ceiling for him is really high.
It looks like he's playing with Bogosian. I know as a young guy, like I played with Derek Morris, just like an older guy who helped me out so much on the ice. And the way your D are stacked up, it looks like you have an offensive guy, defensive guy. Is that something you have conversations with the coaches to kind of help them out with that, or they just do that?
They just do that, but I think it's more of, older guy with a younger guy. You know, you can, like Jared Spurgeon's so smart. He's such a good defenseman. He cleans up a lot out there, like quietly.
Mm-hmm.
He can really play with anybody. So I think, and he's a calming influence. So I think in having Buyam with him is a good thing. I think Bogo right now, even though he's playing on the left, will be a good influence on David and just kind of talking him through it. And I think that's more of it. But I mean, I do like the one defensive, one offensive. Jens, which one were you? I forget.
I was
Mo.
a little bit of the offense.
Okay.
But you said it, like just talking through the game, like talking on the ice. I felt my last few years in the league, it kind of got a little less and less, just guys talking you through the game. But like Bogosian's like that. He can do it.
Yeah. You know what? That's an unbelievable point because I don't know how guys play the game without talking.
I couldn't.
You need to hear stuff from your teammates.
And they don't. Like, if being a winger, if the puck was coming around the wall and I was near the benches, you could hear guys just screaming. Or like if somebody's cutting across the middle or whatever and just yelling for the puck or just heads up or whatever, you could hear everybody. And like now I think the guys don't, I don't know why they don't talk as much, but I don't feel like they do. And yeah, I don't get it because the game's faster than ever.
Right.
I honestly don't know. I mean, that's why I didn't wear a mouthpiece because I couldn't talk. Like I just,
even the refs and linesmen used to talk as like a ton helping you out. And now the young guys don't even say anything. It's something that's got to be, but you have the older guys that'll help guys out, like Middleton, Bogosian, those guys will help them.
Yeah, they'll help them out. And I think it's more just a generational thing, but I don't understand it. Yeah. And the refs are unreal. Like, back then it was, and this is something we talk about a lot. We all had relationships with the referees, with Kerry Fraser and Billy McCreary and Dan Maruelli, all these guys, and the linesmen, Mike Civic and Kevin Collins. These guys would, they would save your life. So you had to have a great relationship, but they would talk to you during the game, and it was we had. I mean, it was like a social hour out there.
Funny you say. Remember Donor before the game? You'd always go to our trainer and he'd get every referee's first and last name. That way, when he went up to them before the face-off and said hello and used them, called them by the first name, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, okay, this guy remembers me." Maybe get a few extra calls because of it, and it just shows that kind of that mutual respect. Like you were just listing them all off. I bet you 95% of players don't know any of the refs' names now.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think it's a big mistake on the players' part if they don't, because you know what, those guys deserve respect too. They're out there. I mean, they're putting their life on the line out there, for God's sakes. The game is fast. They're in it too. They're part of the league. And if you don't know their name, if you don't show them the respect, and but it goes both ways too. That was a great thing about our generation. With the as to the relationship with the officials out there. Paul Dvorsky was one of the best. He was unbelievable. If guys were yapping at each other and he knew they weren't really fighters or whatever, he'd tell the linesman to back up. He would back up, let them fight. And then both guys are like, "What?
I don't want to
Like,
fight. I wanted you to come in."
No. He's like, "Yeah, I knew he wouldn't fight." Like he was the best.
Frauds.
Like it was classic.
He starts fighting them.
Yeah,
That was me. I'm like, no, hold on. Wait, where you going?
Donor was a pretty fiery guy. There was a few times you get in fuck you matches with him where like,
Frick you.
Yeah, he would not say
frig you, but he would end up obviously going to apologize and like calming down after. Was there any time you ever got into it with an official to the point where you maybe had to go over to the referee's room and bring over a six-pack and be, "Yeah, sorry about that. I was a little fired up."
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. I got more 10s especially when I was young. Like Andy Van Hellemont, he'd be like, "Who the hell is this kid? Give him 10. Go sit down for 10 minutes." Like, but then like, yeah, I would always apologize or say, "Hey, look, I my emotions got the best of me," whatever. And the good thing is though, like they would give it right back to you.
Right.
And then they would kind of put you in your place or just kind of like stand their ground. And then you would have this mutual kind of, "Hey, sorry. Yeah, let's just move on with it." But yeah, I got my fair share of misconducts and slaps on the wrist. But they'd always, what I like to is they'd always kind of give you like a little bit of a warning. Like I remember one time we were playing in the playoffs against Anaheim. I was coming off a thigh injury. I couldn't really skate. Like I was just kind of hobbling around out there. So I was trying to get guys. So I was slashing guys, like, because they were going to get around me. So I'd like two-hand them, like kind of in the arms or the legs or whatever. And Billy McCreary skates over to the bench. He's like, "Guerin, if you don't stop swinging that goddamn stick like a samurai sword, you're going to be sitting in the box all night. I'm like, all right, sorry. And then
Just
I
got
stopped.
walked the next 3 shifts.
But he gave me the warning, and that was it. And a lot of that stuff happened back then. It's much different, but it was. I mean, I like to feel like I had a good relationship with those guys.
I think the best defenseman in the league that nobody talks about is Brodeen. And I know he had to have off-season shoulder surgery. How's it? I don't think he's playing tonight, but is he on track in the next week or so to come back in the lineup? Because that guy skates like the wind. You can't beat him one-on-one. One of the few guys I've seen McDavid have like kind of a step on, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, how did he just stay with him? So what's his health look like for you guys right now?
Yeah, he's ahead of schedule. We'll see exactly when he's playing soon. If he had more of an upside or more of an offensive side to his game, he would be a Norris candidate every year.
Yeah, that's how good he is.
He defends. I mean, you take all the best guys we talk about every year. Hedman, McCarr, Doughty over the years, and guys like that. He defends as well or better than those guys. He does not have the offensive side to his game that they do. But as for defensive defenseman, he is top 5 in the league for sure.
Him and Forsling for me are like the 1A, 1B, like just shut down guys that are awesome to watch.
Yeah, they're like when you watch him in practice and you see his feet, you see him crossing over, and it's just so natural, and just yeah, he's a special player.
Of the 41 road games, and maybe this year is different with the Olympics and how you're going to prepare for that, but on a normal year, 41 road games, how many are you at as the GM?
I'd probably be at 80%, 75. Yeah, 80%. I try to make as many as I can. There's always things that come up. There's like GM meetings or board of governors meetings, or, honestly, sometimes I'll just not go just because I might need a break from the team and the coaches, and they might need a break from me. And I think it's healthy. Like if you watch your team too much, without taking a break, you either love them too much or you hate them too much. And I think you gotta do other things too. I mean, for me personally, you have to go out and watch other teams, or just sit at home one night and watch them on TV.
It's like being married. You got to get on the road just a little bit, right? You got to get away from home.
Exactly. My wife's thrilled that the season started. She's thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
like, beat it.
I think we were talking to it was a Jim Nill, and he mentioned how involved he is in the process and how much he's talking to the head coach throughout the season. Like when you're there and you're at the games, like are you going down to the coach's room after every game and kind of dissecting the performance, or like what's your process with Hines?
You know what? I do go down. There was a time with Dean that I wouldn't go down. Probably good half a season. I'd go down, get in my car, and drive home. That was just working better for us. With Heinze, I go down, and him and I worked for a long time together in Wilkes, and we just kind of figured this out. But like for me to go down and say this wasn't good, that was good, it doesn't help. They're in the foxhole with the guys. They're coaching a game. They're emotional. They need time to decompress. I go in. I just try to keep my mouth shut. If Heinze needs to vent, I listen. If they want feedback, I'll give it. But I try to say as little as possible, and then give them time to like watch the video, really assess the game, and we could talk about it in the morning. I'm not always that level-headed. I do have my moments.
Was that what resulted into the like half a season of not going down to Dean's office?
Yes. It doesn't do anything. We're not going to figure anything out. The coaches are emotional. Look at they're coaching the game. So they're doing line matchups. They're doing, throwing PK guys out there, or PP guys out there, or figuring out 6-on-5s or whatever. They're actually like coaching the game. And I'm 100 feet up watching it as a scout.
And it's so easy from up there. It's crazy.
It's so easy. It's really, for me as a GM, I always say it's a very unfair assessment of a player, of the play, because you're so far up there. It's so slow from up there. You can't see how hard a guy's working, or like it just doesn't paint the truest picture.
As stressful as the job is, like what do you do to decompress? Like, you go home and have a drink? Like, maybe have you taken up yoga? Like, do you do anything outside maybe the norm in order to calm down when you're fired up? You have a stress ball?
I've taken up woodworking.
No shit, carpentry?
Yeah. So I can't play golf in the wintertime. So I needed something else to do. So like a year ago, I got into it and just started trying to figure stuff out. And I bought everything, like table saws, miter saws, circular saw, like everything. I just started making stuff, like watching YouTube videos and
New Yankee Workshop.
He made that sign.
I used to watch the New Yankee Workshop.
A year ago, I didn't know what a router was. Now I have 3 of them.
What have you made? Like, what's something
what have
like
you built?
Besides that sign for Wit, what else have you made?
Yeah. That's it. Just that. I've made like a bunch of like cutting boards, and where you glue them together, and you gotta like
cutting board.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to make a cutting board.
What?
No, like
just
for
like
a
a flat
charcuterie
piece of
board.
wood.
Like,
Biz,
like
they're
a
not
cut-
born
It's not just a flat piece of wood. It's not a board. Like a butcher block cutting board.
with the nice little part around the side that the juice will fall into. You can't just have
juice
it
screw.
flat.
That's called
Wit
the
said
juice
they're
screw.
not just born.
Jupe screw.
Yeah.
Biz thought that the big pieces of wood just birthed another cutting board.
Biz thinks there's butcher block trees out there, and you just cut them.
I just
Like-
realized. I just
and
found out
they
that the
mate
moon
with
moved.
redwoods.
I've been learning about astrology and stuff, and the solar system.
I'm gonna build myself a bat now, or just
Yeah.
smash your microphone.
What would you like to build? What's your ultimate goal for the season? Like maybe like a chair, a stress chair, a recliner like Army.
Stress chair. I can break it over your back.
Gonna make an old Sherwood that he used
Yeah.
Hey,
at BC.
hey, if the team's playing like
You
shit,
should make
you come in,
sticks
you
for the
drop a
boys.
bunch of wood twigs. Yeah, we fucking spent all our money on you, Kaprizov. Use these fucking things.
I'm gonna start my own stick company. Biz, you're my first customer. What hand were you?
he
He
doesn't
doesn't
know.
know.
Still trying to figure that out. Still trying to.
No, I've
Fucking-
made like some tables and stuff like that, and yeah,
It's amazing.
I'm trying to figure out making a new dog bowl stand for my dog. It's tough. I've screwed more stuff up but I have like this whole corner of my garage that's like all scrap wood.
Still got all 10 fingers.
Yeah, you're gonna shake. I was gonna say you're gonna shake his hand next time you see him, and he's gonna be like Lyle Odeline.
Chubbs Peterson.
Oh, 9
Gonna have-
fingers, Odie. I want to
Yeah,
be
I
like
think
Chubbs.
You were in Pittsburgh at the same time as him, weren't you? Or maybe you
No,
just
we were in
missed him, eh?
Jersey together.
Or Jersey. Oh, he was a good time, eh?
Oh my God, he was nuts. He was awesome.
Hey, Whit, want to come to lunch? Yeah, sure. Next thing you know, it's 9:45 in the same restaurant.
Haven't eaten.
Haven't eaten a meal.
Odie was like, "Hey, Tuesday, let's go to lunch." And you leave. It's Friday morning.
Oh shit, we missed the game.
He was a great teammate.
The best.
My favorite Lyle Odeline story, like on the ice, like him, like he's a great guy. And I was going through a rough time. Like I had a holdout that year. Just came back, I was struggling. I couldn't freaking tie my shoes, and he knew it. And I had just like zero confidence. And we were playing in Florida one night, and he comes up to me like I don't know what the score was, or whatever, but we had a face off at center ice, and he comes up before the face off, he taps me, and he's like, "Go," he goes, "Hey, you got to get back on the horse." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Go after Jovanovski." He goes, "I'm coming in. I'll come in, and take care of Louse if he gets involved. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, you need to get back on the horse. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And we didn't end up fighting. Like I went over and there was a scrum and stuff like that. We didn't end up fighting, but it just meant so much to me that Odie came over and thought of me at that time and said, hey, this is what you need. And I never forgot that. He was a good teammate.
That's awesome.
Do you like or dislike pregame skates? Because they're kind of going away a little bit. Part in your career, that was a big part of the game.
That was sweating it out.
Would you rather have your team skate or not skate?
That might have been a worse question than mine back at the start of the interview.
No, it wasn't. It was a better question than yours.
I'd still be talking if it was his.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm here right now talking to you guys rather than being at the morning skate.
There we go.
So for me now as a GM, I went like my first year and I was watching guys and, I forget that, it's in order for the guys to get ready for the game. So they have to do whatever they want. And like, I'm seeing guys missing passes and they're half sleeping and they're going through the motions. And I'm like, well, no wonder I'm going to be pissed at them after the game if they don't play well. They weren't ready for the morning skate. And then I was like, all right, how was I in the morning skates? I probably wasn't like, snapping it around all the time. So like, I don't go and watch it because I don't want that to affect my opinion on how they play. All that matters is that you're ready at game time. Do whatever you have to do to be ready at game time. Is that go on the ice? Great. Is it stay off the ice? Great. I don't care. Do what you have to do to be ready to perform your best at 7:00 or 8:45, whenever we start now.
I was going to hop in, Jens, and ask about the Olympics. I mean, you guys try to build a roster in order to bully Canada, and that didn't work. Obviously, Canada took it home.
Is he trying to get a tan while doing this? This is fucking bullshit.
Do you want sunglasses?
Do you want us to stop so you can just tan?
You had the lights off at one point.
You have to be sponsored by some.
It's an electronic blind, so I can't just put it halfway to get some light in here. So it's either fully open. I'm going to fully close it now.
Have the girl you had over last night hold up a sheet.
No, I'm celibate. I'm 48 hours, Billy. No jerking, no fucking, just straight winning, baby, for the Leafs. That's my dedication to the Leafs. I bleed blue now. And going back to my question, you guys try to...
You bleed blue now. We couldn't tell.
No,
What do you mean?
Yeah, just now.
But going back to my question, you guys try to bully Team Canada at the Four Nations. What's your plan of attack for the Olympic roster, and how are you going to plan on beating Canada?
We don't even know if we're playing Canada.
Oh, no?
We worry about ourselves, Biz.
I'm not worried about anybody else but our team. We've got to build the best team we can. It's all about building a team. It's not just about throwing, who's playing well or this or that. We're building a team. And that's really it. Like, that Four Nations was so awesome. Like in so many different ways. It was so great. Yeah, but hey, look, there's different rules. There's half NHL refs, half European refs. They call the game differently. All these things we have to take into account. And, but we do have to build the best team that we possibly can. And that means like guys buying into roles, accepting, every guy in that team's the first power play guy or first PK guy. If you're not on the PP, you're maybe you're on the PK. If you're not on either, what are you going to do? You got to play a role and accept it and embrace it. And just know that that's the best thing for the team.
Now, you were part of the 96 World Cup, which for my generation was like, I remember watching that where I was. It made me fall in love with the game, like even more. And then with the Four Nations last year and the Olympics this year, like it seems like that's going to be this next generations of kids falling in love with the game, thinking they can make it. Like being a part of both of those for you must be amazing to think about that you're still doing it.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It really has been. And it was like, especially because, the Kachucks were in it and like, it was like a flashback almost. It was crazy. Like the rivalry just keeps growing and growing and growing. And yeah, it was, it's pretty cool to be part of both. the one thing is that we need a win. It's been a while. We need a win. And, we've done it. We got one this year at the World Championships. We've had them at the World Juniors, but we need one best on best. And we're going to have an opportunity in February, and we'll see what we can do.
You got any wit?
No, that's just like I got the chills right now, Biz. We got to win one.
Just going back to what you said about talking to the guys, accepting roles, like, are you having the conversations with the guys like, hey, if you do make the team, you might be a fourth line guy. You might be, I mean, obviously every guy would do anything to be on the team, but can you tell if someone is truly like acceptance of that, like you telling them something like that?
Yeah, I don't really talk to him like that. That's more of like Sully's. That's his area. But the guys do know, through like the orientations and things like that, guys know what we're looking for. You take JT Miller, 100-point guy, first power play, first everything. I don't even remember if he was on our second power play for the Four Nations, but he was our first PK. Him and Troch were our first PK pair, face-offs, all that stuff. And, to a man, they all just said, I don't care. Put me anywhere. I'll do anything. They want to win. And that's the attitude that we're looking for.
Who was your roommate at the World Cup of Hockey?
Big Wall.
Big Wall.
Oh my God.
Oh, bad time to be a beer in that city.
Yan said he was pretty competitive in everything he did.
Walt?
Yeah.
Everything. He's a beauty.
Did you watch the Amazon Face-Off, the new season yet?
No.
Oh my! They show him in the crowd during that game, the one in Montreal, and then Matthew goes with Hagel, and then like his wife's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Just wait, this ain't over yet."
His boys are just amazing guys. Like, they really are. They're it's all about the winning. For them, it's all about the team. You know what? They produce, they make big money. They're captain and assistant captain, but it's for those guys, it's all about the team. They knew exactly what they needed to do and what we needed. And I know Keith and Chantel Chantel raised two great kids.
Yeah, exactly.
We're previewing the Central. Like, who are the teams that scare you the most? Like, who?
Colorado's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
Another brilliant question.
Oh, I'm trying to get. We're doing the Central breakdown. You got to help us out here.
Winnipeg's got a good goalie.
They're all good. Like, everybody's good. You know what the thing about the league now is they're like, even the so-called weaker teams or teams that are rebuilding or the teams that are young, you better be on your game. You have to be on your game every single night, because anybody can beat anybody. So, to be quite honest with you, Biz, like, I don't want to say every team, nobody scares me, but like, I know that we can beat any team in the league. And any team in the league can beat us on any given night. That's just the way it is. So we roll into Colorado. Yeah, I know we can win. But I know if we're not on our best, they can win too. And vice versa. It just like, it's every night. It, like, game one for us tonight. Like, we made the playoffs last year on game 82.
With like 20 seconds to go, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So tonight is they're all big games. It's insane. But it's what makes the league great.
Billy G, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Hey, you get a pregame nap in, right? You get a little shutsy before the game tonight?
Oh, hell yeah. I haven't given that up. Never.
Never.
Never. I will never give that up.
Oh, thank you very much, and good luck this year.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me on again. Good to catch up.
Oh, thanks for coming on, brother.
Guys, it's Whit. I want to talk about men's league sweaters. You know what is the absolute worst? People who love men's league, they know what I'm talking about. It's ordering jerseys for your men's league team. Not anymore, though. Men's league sweaters makes it easy. Men's league sweaters makes it fast, and their jerseys are unreal. We know from the Chiclets Cup. Men's League sweaters, they make amazing products. They feel good, they look good, and it's very, very easy to order. The jerseys are unreal. We've used Men's League sweaters for years now. I believe back to 5-6 years ago. We get these this year, the Big Deal Selects jerseys. They look good, they feel good, they're light.
The Stranglers too, with the Stranglers jersey.
I try to forget about the Stranglers. I try to forget about what happened. I try to forget what happened, but they're trusted. Men's League sweaters are trusted by over 1,000 hockey players. We love them. You will too. Make your team the envy of the league. Right now, visit mensleaguesweaters.com/chiclets and get 15% off the uniform packages. That's mensleaguesweaters.com/chiclets for 15% off. Guys, I want to talk about Shell. Gasoline. Your car needs it, and it needs Shell. Members get more rewards with Shell. More rewards, more savings, and special offers with the Fuel Rewards program at Shell. Fuel Reward members can earn rewards on fuel, snacks in the convenience store, dining out, shopping online, and more. All rewards earned will turn into savings at the pump. The more you shop, the more you earn rewards, and the more you save on fuels at Shell. It's simple as that. The more you fuel, the more you save, and it's free to become a member. That's a nice thing. Free to become a member. Just sign up, become a new member of the Fuel Reward program, and save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents per gallon on your second, and 30 cents per gallon on your third. Get everyday savings afterwards. At Shell, members get more rewards, savings, and special offers. Join the Fuel Rewards program at Shell today. Visit fuelrewards.com/barstool25 for more information. At participating merchants and Shell locations, limit to 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com/barstool25 for more information. Thank you so much to Bill Guerin, all-time guy. Go USA. Suck on that, Biz. Suck on that. And now we need to bring in our new guest, Bob Heethuis, a man who Paul Bissonnette's talked about a lot in the history of the show. How much you did for him when he began his media career as the color commentator with you, calling all those Coyotes games. So what's going on? And thank you for joining us.
Heater.
Hey, Biz, Whit, Jens. I'll tell you what, Biz would have got to where he's at right now, even without me. I'll tell you that.
That's bullshit.
No way, Heater.
Not
You
a
would have got
chance.
canceled.
Just there to support Biz and point him in the right direction, but he had a great future right from the start. But anyway, boys, I've been involved in hockey for a long time, but I feel like now today I've reached the pinnacle of my career. I'm on Spittin Chiclets.
Don't say that.
Does it get any better than this?
I would say this is the low point in coming on Spittin Chiclets. So the complete opposite of what you think. But Peter, I owe you so much, man. I would not be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you when I retired. I had the pleasure of getting to do radio with you, and I know that you'd nurtured so many guys before me. Louis DeBrusque was with you, Tyson Nash, of course, and obviously those guys have gone on to do what they did, and you took us under your wing, buddy, and it was such a pleasure to work with you. You brought so much great energy and preparation to what you did, and I'll never forget those days in the booth with you in Arizona. And man, did we have fun. We were singing in the post games. I was saying shit on the broadcast where you'd look at me like, what the fuck? Though even when I got to play there, Heater, when I would come off the ice from getting bag skated from an hour because I knew I wasn't playing and maybe I was in a little bit of a grumpy mood, you'd always be there to cheer me up and ask me questions so I would feel important, like I was a part of it. So I'm so happy to have you not only on today's show, but I think that you got the raw end of the deal on when the team ended up going from Arizona to Utah, where I felt like you should have continued to do radio or even some form of media for them. So we're going to bring you on board, and you're going to be around with us throughout the whole year and moving forward until somebody finally in the hockey world wakes up and rehires you to do what you do best, and that's play-by-play. Because from a traditional standpoint, listening to you on a broadcast, buddy, it's
incredible.
You sing on there, buddy. I remember saying when you get off to those hot starts, I'd be like, "Oh, Heater's singing tonight, baby."
Now I can leave because I don't know how to follow that up with that great introduction there. But
he'll have some takes that you could shit on him for, Heater.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You know that's going to happen.
The pleasure was all mine working with you and everybody else. I will say one thing though. I appreciate your sentiments about me going on to Utah. That would have been great. but I certainly have no animosity toward the Utah people or, Mike Folta, who was hired as their radio broadcaster. Utah didn't owe me anything. They didn't know me from anyone. And they hired a really good young guy, and Mike Folta is outstanding. So, I really enjoyed the opportunity that I had doing play-by-play in the NHL, had so many great experiences, met so many wonderful people, including guys like you, Biz, and Jans, and Whit. I never had really a chance to meet you, but I certainly appreciated watching you as an opposing broadcaster and during your outstanding career. But, it was just a situation where it didn't work out for me, but I'm so happy that you guys have kind of thrown me a lifeline here, and great to see you.
Oh, of course.
Well, two things can be true, right? Like Utah's done an incredible job, Heeter, but I still believe that you have a voice in the hockey world, and we're going to see that today, because I talked about your over preparation and you've completely broken down the Central. We probably should have had you on for the whole show, because you probably know way more than what we know.
Well, let's ask him, Biz, quick. Let's ask him, because the one thing I'm interested in is we were saying that maybe a little, we all said Dallas is a very good team, but kind of maybe not as good as last year type thing. That's what we were suggesting as a possibility.
That remains to be seen. I think, they still have so much talent, and you add Mikko Rantanen for a full season. We all saw what he did in the playoffs, was just dominant. And, when you have a guy like Matt Duchene, who last year played a lot of third-line center, get 82 points, I mean, that's a pretty deep top three lines. Now, Duchene will be without, some of his line mates from last year, Mikael Granlund, who's gone, and it'll be a different situation for him. But you look at the top tier of forwards on that Dallas team, and they're really good. And on defense, I mean, you guys talked about it. You have Miro Heiskanen and Thomas Harley, who's quickly evolving into the best defenseman in the league. And also you have Esa Lindell. There's three guys right there that could play on top pair for pretty much any team. And, Jason Robertson, you go on and on. But the one thing about Dallas is they have, in a lot of people's opinion, the second best goaltender in the Central Division. And that's Jake Ottinger. And it'll be interesting to see how Dallas does. I kind of look at the Central, and you can break it down into kind of three tiers. You have the big three: Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. They're all fighting to get that top spot so they don't have to play each other in the first round. And then you have Minnesota, St. Louis, now Utah in the mix in the next three. And they're trying to get into the top three, or at least make the wild card. And then you have Nashville, who really underachieved last year. Who knows what they might do this year? They're kind of a wild card. And then Chicago is in rebuilding. But in answer to your question, Whit, I think Dallas is going to be right there. The only thing that might derail them is I think that they could be as many as 9 players going to the Olympics for the different countries. So if they suffer some injuries, it's going to be tough. But we'll see. It's going to be, in my opinion, Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, again, are going to be slugging it out all year. And Biz, you talked about Jamie Benn as well being out. That's a key heart and soul piece of that team that is out for several weeks with surgery after having a collapsed lung. So we'll see the effect in leadership and how they are different maybe on the ice without Jamie Benn.
Biz seems to think that Dallas is a little less scary with Gulletson behind the bench, and I tend to agree with him on that take. And do you think having a coach like Glenn as opposed to DeBoer back there, like, do you think that kind of makes them a little less fearful?
Could be, but I mean, Pete DeBoer, as you guys mentioned, is one of the really successful coaches of the last several years. And I mean, he led the Stars to the Western Conference finals each of the 3 years that he was there, unfortunately losing all 3 times, once to Vegas and the last 2 years to Edmonton. So I'm not sure, what went on there and why he was out. Glenn Gulletson is a guy that's maybe a little under the radar, but keep in mind, he's been the assistant with Edmonton for the last 7 years. So I guess they're thinking, if we can't beat Edmonton, let's bring in somebody from Edmonton to try to beat them.
Oh, yeah.
It's his second tour of duty as the head coach in Dallas. Back in 2011 through 13, he was their coach. Wasn't as successful He's had a lot of experience since then. So we'll have to see. But there's no question Pete DeBoer is one of the top coaches in the league.
I was just going to go right to Utah because obviously you saw a lot of these guys play in Phoenix. What are your thoughts on them? I think a lot of expectations for them to finally get into playoffs after such a long period of not. They have probably some of the best young talent in the league. So what's your opinion on where they're headed this year and how they're going to build towards making playoffs?
Well, I think, they've kind of been in a rebuild for a while, going back to the Arizona days, and they've been steadily getting more prospects that have entered the NHL, surrounded by the veteran core that they've had. And this could be the year for them to make the playoffs. They're kind of the sexy pick in the West to make the playoffs as a wild card team. And I saw one publication that even had them breaking the top 3 in the Central. They certainly went out and got a lot of pieces this offseason. Bill Armstrong, their general manager, filled some holes, namely offensively. They needed to get more goals. So they got J.J. Peterka, I should say, from Buffalo, 27-goal scorer a year ago, 28 the year before that. And as a pretty young guy, still someone who can really grow into a top goal scorer in the league. Then they got the veterans, Brandon Tanev, I'm sorry, and Nate Schmidt. Schmidt, of course, coming off the Stanley Cup win in Florida, kind of resurrected his career. Tanev can play, third line, fourth line, good penalty killer, good defensive forward, gives them some grit and glue. And then maybe the biggest behind Peterka acquisition they made was in goal with Vitek Vanacek. A veteran goalie, once was a 33-game winner in New Jersey. And he's going to back up Karel Vejmelka, who had a tremendous season last year. But the question is, can he sustain that? And can he be the top-tier goaltender that Utah hopes and thinks that he is? If he falters a bit, you've got a guy like Vanacek there, who had a tremendous preseason, by the way, with the Mammoth to help out in that regard. But, when you look at Utah, certainly it starts with Clayton Keller. And what an outstanding young man, and also the way that he's been able to increase his productivity year after year after year. You and I were in Arizona together when Clayton was just a young guy, and there were some doubts about him. After he had a really strong rookie season, he didn't have as much success in years 2 and 3, and there were a lot of talk about maybe moving him. What's wrong with Clayton Keller? But the Coyotes general manager at the time, John Chaika, made a bold move and signed Kells to an 8-year deal at 7.1 AAV, and that's a bargain now. I mean, he's a 90-point producer, perennial 30-goal scorer. He's their captain. So I think Kells is really done well for himself, and I think he can get even better. He's been a long-time line mate with Nick Schmaltz, who is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. He's got certainly a lot of motivation. He's had 20 goals and 50 points steadily over the last few years. So those are the two veteran guys up front. But everyone's talking about the youngsters, Dylan Guenther, Logan Cooley. I mean, you look at those guys, and I wouldn't say that Guenther's shot is Ovechkin-esque, but it's getting close. You ever watch that kid shoot from the dot in the left circle? Goalies don't have a chance when he gets a clean shot off. It's so quick, so accurate, so explosive. He scored last season 27 goals, I believe, and a lot of people project him to get to 40 or maybe even 50 eventually. And he's just coming into his own. Also, Logan Cooley probably will end up as the best player in that 2023 draft when all is said and done. And he's coming off a tremendous season. I should say maybe the 22 draft. I think he was drafted in 22, third overall. Yeah. But, he was outstanding last year in his second full NHL campaign. He had 65 points, over 20 goals, and then he went and played for Team USA in the World Championships and had 12 points in that tournament. He was teammates with Keller on that team. And I think that Logan Cooley is going to become one of the elite centers in the NHL. Those two guys are going to get better and better. Cooley, in fact, is going to be a restricted free agent after this season. And I know that the Coyotes obviously reached out to him. Coyotes, listen to me.
That's okay, buddy. Nostalgia.
Biz loves that heater.
Oh, yeah, I got hurt.
I told myself I was not going to do that today, but there we go. The old roots resurfaced. But the Mammoth, I'm sure, reached out to him, and we're trying to get him re-signed. There's rumors that he turned down an 8-year deal this summer to kind of bet on himself. So that'll be an intriguing thing to watch this year. Will the Coyote or the Mammoth and Cooley get a big contract extension done by the end of this season?
I think that'll happen soon. I think it's notorious where Armstrong, the initial offer, it's not accepted. I think it even happened with a few other guys where they end up getting, I think he should be in the 10.5 range for what people think his projections are. They need to lock him up to an 8-year deal because, like, I agree with you, Heater. I think he's going to be one of the best centers in the league come a few years from now. He's a fucking horse out there, and he's already showing signs of it. So what an incredible breakdown. Now, I got to ask you about their
Biz,
back
quickly,
end.
he turned down apparently 8 times 9.6. So
yeah,
just to have that out there, kind of crazy.
That's a lot of dough.
I know.
You mentioned bringing in Schmidt, experience winning the Stanley Cup. They also have Sergachev on the back end, Stanley Cup. How do you feel about their defense? Like in offense, they got a lot of young guns mixed in with the chemistry of Schmaltz and Keller, JJ Peterka now there. How do you feel about their defense?
I think it's getting stronger, and last year, Sergachev really had a tremendous season and became the leader on D and played in all situations. And he's definitely their number one defenseman. They have Sean Dursey and John Marino, who both started last season injured. And so they didn't come back until I think it was maybe in November. And so with those guys healthy and ready to go to start this year, along with Ole Mata, who they picked up from Detroit last year, and he played really well for the rest of the season with Utah, and certainly Schmidt. And then there's a young guy that a lot of people are not really familiar with, but he was their first-round draft pick in 2023, 6th overall, Dmitry Simashev.
The Rushki?
Yes.
That was an off-the-board pick. Everybody was like, who's that?
Yeah, and Heater, it was at the Sphere. I believe that was the draft in Vegas we were at. And I'd been told, like, this kid is one of the best skating defensemen in the whole draft, and he's 6'6". Then I went and looked at a bunch of highlights that this guy had sent me where he was crushing people as well in the KHL. So, like, there's talk that you could have a true number one in a few years on your hands. So I was glad you brought him up.
Yes, he made the team. He had an outstanding training camp, was maybe their best defenseman in a lot of the preseason games at age 20. He's already played 5 pro seasons in Russia with Yaroslavl, and he's ready to play. At least they can look at him for at least a time to start the season and see how that goes when the regular season starts. But he was very good in the preseason. As you said, Whit, he can really skate. He's very physical, defends well, and has a big shot. And, it's an interesting story about that draft. Russia, of course, had, invaded Ukraine at that point. So a lot of the scouts did not go to Russia to see players live. But it turned out that Simashev and his Lokomotiv teammate, Daniil Boot, were playing in a tournament outside of Russia. I don't remember what country it was, but Bill Armstrong and his scouts went over there, and they're able to see those two players live. And they ended up drafting Simashev at number 6 in that draft, and then at number 12, Boot, who is a really big power forward type with speed. He had a decent training camp as well, as both of them came over from Russia this year, first year in North America, and he was sent to Tucson, but it's only a matter of time, I think, before he comes up as well. So they kind of got those two Russians under the radar, and we'll see where it goes, but certainly Simashev is predicted to be a really, really good defenseman.
You mentioned Sean Dursey, and
Gamer.
I remember last year, like he went out with the shoulder, he came back, and it's really hard to just hop back in mid-season, coming off surgery, the pace of the game, and maybe wasn't himself. If he can get back to that level that you've seen from him, and there were times in like it was LA, you're like, this guy's incredible, and if he has a huge year, and then Shimashev's playing well, Sergachev, you know what you're getting from him. I actually have them in. I have them getting in this year. I'm picking St. Louis to miss. That's kind of my flip-flop in the Central and in the Western Conference, but I like this team a lot. And what's most exciting for me with this team is they're fun to watch play. It's not like a team where you're kind of like I said, Dallas is fun to watch, and I almost misspoke a little bit because they at times could kind of clog it up and be a little boring. Utah with Cooley and Keller and now Peterka, I think it's a team that, like, every time you're tuning in, they may give up a lot of goals, but they're going to score a lot as well. So, I don't know, Biz, do you have them in, or are you still kind of not yet?
Holy after the double wrister that Heetuis just gave me, it'd be hard not to. Holy shit. You got my mind in a fucking pretzel right now, Bobble.
They're winning the cup.
I'm going to have them in.
Okay.
I'm going to have them in because I said that I don't think Dallas was going to be in the top 3 in the Central. So you said that some people might even have them in that top 3 and then making a move. So, Heater, I'm going to say that they make playoffs. You got me into it.
I'm with you.
Heater, do you think that the pressure in Utah right now is playoffs or bust? Like, I know it's only year 2 there. Ryan Smith obviously has put a ton of money into the team and wants the best for them. But, like, do you think that this is a season where they need to get in, or there's going to be changes, or it's one of those things where they still need a few more years of runway?
I think that they still have a couple more years of runway, at least one more. I mean, I think they're expected to, really improve a bit this year and be a strong contender to either get in or get to the cusp. They had a 12-point improvement last season from their final year in Arizona. So the improvement was there. And with the additions made in the offseason, and certainly with the core that they have, there are expectations for them to get to the playoffs. I don't think that at this point it's a time where it's playoff or bust, but it's a situation where definitely the pressure is starting to get on them because I think they're ready after a long rebuild. And getting back to Simashev, one thing Andre Tourigny, the head coach, likes to do is play 7D and 11 forwards.
The worst.
That's the way they're going to start the season. I think they'll play that way when they open the season against the Avs. And it's twofold. Number one, he gets an opportunity to play that extra D, and in this case, get the youngster Simashev involved with the veteran D that are out there. And also, it allows his top forwards to get extra shifts to play. If you have only 11 forwards, obviously you guys know, then who's ever going hot, whether it's Keller or Cooley or Gunther or Schmaltz at that time, then they get extra shifts. And so it's something employed by several coaches over the years, but Andre Tourigny likes to do that a lot. And I think you'll see that to start the season, 7 defensemen and 11 forwards for the Mammoth.
I love that.
Keith, you got him in or out?
I got him in just because Heater's got him in.
Wow.
They should
All of
fucking
us.
get you on the payroll. Jesus Christ.
All of
Ryan
us.
Smith better send you the fucking jet. What he
Seriously.
should be doing. Holy fuck.
I'm going to say that they're in if Karel Vejmelka can play anywhere near like he did last year, and in Arizona, he was very kind of inconsistent. Last year was his best year, earned himself a new 5-year deal, and we'll see. I think that when he's on, he can be among the best goalies, certainly in the division, in the conference. But that's why Vanacek, I think, will be very important. If there's a little bit of a stumble there, Veg didn't have a great preseason numbers wise. Obviously, you can't really put much on the preseason, and there are different players in there, so there's a lot of different scoring chances and whatnot. But interesting to see how things will go for him when the regular season starts. But yes, I'm going to say that they're going to get in. I don't know who they're going to replace. I mean, you look at all these teams. Minnesota, I think, is going to be better because of Kaprizov coming back and Eriksson Ek. I mean, they can only get more offense with those guys healthy. And, St. Louis, they made it last year with that great run down the stretch. So I don't know. I mean,
well, I think it's clear that I think it's very similar to where all of us have 5 in the Atlantic getting in and 3 from the Metro. And I think it'll be 5 from the Central and 3 from the Pacific. So, yeah, I kind of have St. Louis out, Utah coming in. But we can shoot over to another city right now. And I guess the exact opposite of where Utah is at is where Nashville's at in my mind. Utah has so many young guys that are on the cusp of like reaching their prime, and the future is so bright. And you get to Nashville, and all of us are sitting here last year talking about Stamkos coming over and talking about Marchessault, and they could win the division, and it was an absolute disaster. And now it's kind of like going into this season, like I don't see a ton of change. I love Philippe Forsberg. I love Roman Josi. UC Saros can be great at times. But I think we're looking at the beginning of a rebuild in Nashville. And I can't even say it's the beginning because it kind of all started last year. I guess excitement-wise for young players, this kid Brady Martin, he's going to start the year with the team. He was drafted this summer. Heater, you want to kind of give your thoughts on Nashville, and if you maybe disagree with my thought that they're kind of on the way down, it seems.
Well, certainly if you go by last year, they are. And all of those players that you talked about, have had great careers. You can add Brady Shea in there. He was a free agent signee last summer. So everyone was picking Nashville to really elevate and become a strong contender in the division and maybe even in the Western Conference. But, unfortunately, they just crashed and burned. I mean, Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea all had, down seasons as far as the great Steven Stamkos goes. Got 53 points last year, and it dropped from 81 in his final year in Tampa, and it was the lowest healthy point total that he had since he was a rookie back in 08-09. Even Philip Forsberg, who's just an elite forward, he saw an 18-point drop in his production last year. Marchessault as well. He was down from 81 points, or 69 points rather, to 56. And everybody across the board had tough years. Maybe the biggest thing that hurt them was without Roman Josi. Roman Josi was injured, not really injured, but he was ill for the second half of the season and didn't play after February 25th with a condition called Pott's disease. You guys know what that is?
No.
It's a disease where when you go from laying down to standing up, all of a sudden your heart rate kind of excels and you get dizzy and really have the feeling of falling down. And he kind of got hit into the boards, I think against Florida. And I'm not sure, it was either Bennett maybe.
Oh, shocker.
And after that, he developed this Pott's disease, and it really wiped him out for the rest of the year. And obviously, without their captain and their great offensive defenseman and point man on the power play, and you can go on and on. That was another dagger. Now they were already out of it by that time, but still, without Josi, it was a big hole in the Nashville lineup. I'm told that he's feeling better, back to almost 100%, and he's going to start the year.
That's terrible. I usually get that heater, but it's from ripping the bong. Well, it's fucking Sam the Bennett Menace. Jesus.
Anyway, but you talked about some of the younger guys coming in. Their D, on the other side of Josi and Shea. Besides those guys, they've got some different defensemen in there, guys that you really wouldn't know as household names.
There's some names here that nobody knows.
Yeah, and what's amazing is Nashville fans are going to love this because you're doing such a nice job of basically telling them their team's shit.
Being nice.
And they ain't going to make playoffs. And they're going to be probably drafting Gavin McKenna.
Guys like Nick Blankenberg, Spencer Stasny, Adam Wilsby, they're going to be on defense to start the season. They traded for Nick Hague in the offseason from Vegas, and they acquired him to be Josi's partner, but he's out. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, I think. And you talked about the rookie Brady Martin. He was picked 5th overall in the draft, and he's going to start the year. You'll get that 9-game trial as an 18-year-old. And I saw the other day online where he was right now centering their top line.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see about him. But there's another rookie forward that was lighting it up in the preseason before he got hurt. His name is Matthew Wood, and he was their first-round pick, 15th overall in 2023. Big guy, 6'4", 202, and he's out of the University of Minnesota. He had a goal and 4 assists in 2 games in the preseason. Then he got injured, and I'm sure when he comes back, he'll fit into that lineup as well. So those 2 young forwards are going to be infused in and certainly will be a big part of Nashville's future. But, as far as the Preds go, also another guy who had a bad season last year, at least not up to his par, was UC Saros, their goaltender. So, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag, and they're kind of a wild card because, they could move into that rebuilding phase, or if all those vets rebound, maybe they can push themselves up a little higher. I'm not sure, but
that's a proud group, man. You got Ryan O'Reilly, he's got a Conn Smythe, you got Stamkos, you got Marchessault. Yeah, you got some Stanley Cup champions who are very proud people. So maybe that with kind of like the motley crew, they figure things out under the new regime there.
I heard that they changed their D-zone coverage so Saros can see more pucks. Obviously, being a smaller guy, I think last year there was too many guys in front of the net where he couldn't see. So be interested to see what they do to kind of, whether they're boxing out earlier, trying to get guys in the corner, but they needed to make changes. When you have a smaller goalie like that too, you can't have guys in front of the net, like making screens, 2-3 guys where he's not seeing over too many guys. So it will be interesting to see how that works out for them. I don't have them in. Do you guys?
No.
I do not have them in. I am curious to know, though, what are those birds behind or above the bed there? Are those like seagulls? Are those
No.
shithawks?
Let them guess. Let them guess. Turtle doves, no?
Seagulls. I'm still at our summer place in Michigan, and this is our guest room, and we've got nice little wooden seagulls on the wall because we're right on the coast. Did
Billy Guerin make those for you?
Are they made of wood?
Yes, they are.
No, they're real life. They're stuffed.
Did Billy Guerin make them?
I don't know. I don't think so, but he might.
Well, he's a big woodworker now. He's making cutting blocks.
Geppetto Guerin.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't know that wooden seagulls are in his repertoire of wood making. But
Peter, what part of Michigan are you in?
I'm actually a little town called Grand Haven on the west side. It's right by Muskegon.
Okay.
That's where Heeter got his start, right? The Muskegon Lumberjacks?
I'm from Muskegon. It's on the west side of Michigan. I'll do what every Michigan person does. Detroit's over here. We're over here on this side.
Okay.
This is a place where my wife and I grew up, and we love to come here and see family and have great weather in the summer. And then, we go back to AZ, usually for the hockey season, but last year and this year, it'll be as snowbirds. Anyway, it's a good spot. And, the Muskegon team had a pro hockey club for years and years and years. And now, of course, they're in the USHL, and they won the championship last year. So the Muskegon Lumberjacks, and they had several guys drafted over the course of the last few years, and they become a real powerhouse in the USHL. But anyway, getting back to Nashville.
Well, no. Going back to Muskegon, I want you to tell everybody, Heeter, how hardcore you were. Heeter's a foxhole guy. Tell them everything that you had to do when you started out in your broadcasting career when you were working with the Muskegon Lumberjacks.
Well, and this isn't just different for me. I mean, this is really what a lot of young guys had to do, especially back in the 1980s. Now even minor league teams have bigger offices and bigger budgets and whatever. It's more specialized. But back in the mid 80s, when I broke in, I was the broadcaster, the PR director, did community relations, made up the program, made up the media guide.
Drove the bus.
Even some sales until they found out I wasn't good at that. So they didn't have to do that one. But, it was great. It's a great learning ground, however, and you guys have played in the minors, and you know how you kind of become a family, with the minor league team galvanizes together. The NHL is wonderful, but, it's more of a business. There's no question about that. Back then, I was the same age as the players, so I had a lot of great relationships with them and did a lot of things socially with them. But it was a situation where, we would go on the bus. It was all a bus travel until Salt Lake City came into the league, and then some of the other Western towns, and then we would fly. But otherwise, it was a Midwest bus league. And so we would get home at maybe 1, 2 in the morning and have a home game the next night. So then I'd not go home, but stay in there and do the game notes, and then go home, catch a few hours of sleep, and then come back. And a lot of times, also, as you guys know, in the minors, you play 3 games in 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not making a ton of money.
No, it was more of an experience. In fact, I'll tell you, my first year, 1984, coming out of Michigan State University, I made $9,600 plus commissions on sales. I told you I wasn't a very good salesman. So
You owed money?
You're not pushy.
I had to live at home that year because I wouldn't have made it otherwise. And we got the meal money back then was $5 if you left after 12 noon or something, or if you left before noon, you got 7. And so it was stopping at McDonald's and those places. So things have changed a lot since then. And the IHL, soon became the top farm system, or top farm teams, I should say, along with the AHL for many NHL clubs. And the Lumberjacks were fortunate to get involved with the Pittsburgh Penguins before their first back-to-back championships. And so we had so many great players come through there, Hall of Famer Mark Recchi, Kevin Stevens, Jimmy Pack, Frank Pietrangelo, their goaltender behind Tom Barrasso, who had a lot of playoff success in those cup years, and several other guys that cut their teeth in Muskegon. And then we had, some of the best minor pro free agents in really IHL history, guys like Dave Mikhailuk, Scott Gruel, and Jock Callender. And together, that team was able to go to the finals 6 times in the 8 years that I was there.
Wow.
They won 2 Turner Cups, and the owner, Larry Gordon, had a deal where if the team just made the finals every year, didn't have to win the cup, just made the finals, then he would take everybody on a trip. And he went on a few cruises, went to Hawaii, Jamaica,
It's so minor.
Mazatlan, Mexico.
You told me a funny story about him. Was it the Christmas party or something? Or
They're like,
he left
Heater,
the-
you can come, but you got to clean all the rooms when the guys are
Exactly.
You have to
Exactly.
drive the ship,
more jobs than Mr. Clean.
Captain Heater.
I don't know how we got on this track here, because we were talking
No,
about
because I want people to know a bit of your history, Heater, and how, nothing was given to you. You earned everything you got. And you started out, you were basically the guy starting out scrubbing toilets to get where you are. And you're so knowledgeable and you have an incredible story. And I remember just, talking to you on the plane and hearing about how you came up. And I remember you telling me the story. The owner he loved the team, right? He was very committed, and he was so passionate. Where didn't he cancel the Christmas party one year because you guys lost 3 games in a row or something?
it was a little bit different than that.
Oh,
And Larry Gordon was a really good hockey man. In fact, he was a GM in the early days of the Edmonton Oilers. In fact, I think he signed Gretz's first contract, or he signed Gretz to his first contract in Edmonton. You can check with that on that Biss when you see him again.
wow, we don't do much fact checking around here. It's
Let it fly.
But
kind of
anyway,
really our thing.
And I think I asked Wade about that one time when he was with the Coyotes, and he said that was true. But anyway, so Larry Gordon had a long history in hockey, WHA, the NHL, Oilers, and then he got into owning minor pro teams. And he was a real shrewd businessman, you could say. Other guys would say that maybe he was kind of cheap, but
So he could squeeze a nickel so tight the beaver will shit.
He was. He could, and I always got along with Larry. You know, he was good to me, and he, helped me to get into pro hockey after I came out of college. He gave me a job, a hometown guy. I think he thought that I was going to be able to help fails, but again, that didn't work out. But anyway, one year at the Christmas party, every year we'd have this Christmas party, and he would invite all the players and the staff and their significant others and all the off-ice officials, and he would give everybody a gift. Sometimes it was lumberjack sweaters. Sometimes it was gift certificates to other places.
A mop.
Yeah, for me.
They made Heater be Santa.
But anyway, so this one, and then every year he'd always announce that, okay, if you guys make the finals, this year we're going on a cruise, or this year we're going to Mazatlan, or something like that. So then it's time this one year for the players to give him his gift, right? And they gave him a gift certificate from somewhere. Back in the mid-'80s, gift certificates were really not in vogue. He kind of wanted a regular gift. And you could kind of see on his face that he wasn't real pleased with that. But the party went on, and, so I left and went home, and obviously many more people stayed. And I think a lot of drinking was done, and a lot of fun has been had. And so all of a sudden I'm home and I'm in bed, and this was before, this was before caller ID, even answering machines. It's like 2 a.m. and all of a sudden the phone rings next to my bed, and, there was no answering machine. So if I didn't get it, it would just ring and ring and ring and ring. So I pick it up, and it's my boss, the owner, Larry. And I go, hello. And he says, they called me Hockey Bob back then. He says, Hockey Bob, it's Larry. I say, yeah, Larry, what's going on? It's the middle of the night. He goes, I want you to do something for me. You go in first thing in the morning, and I want you to put all of our ungrateful blankety blank players on waivers. Seriously?
The whole team?
Yes. And I go, seriously? And he goes, yes. He goes, and I said, even Boris and Jock, meaning, Dave Mikhailuk and Jock Callender, the two great players, kind of the staple of the franchise. He goes, everybody. He says, they're ungrateful. And he goes, and I'll tell you one other thing. What's that, Larry? If you don't do it, you're fired. So needless to say, even though I knew that he was, smashed at the time, still there was that threat there that if I didn't do this, I was going to lose my job. And my job was everything to me. I was, a young guy in my 20s. I had to have that job. So I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I get up, go in early in the morning. Luckily, our coach, Ricky Lee, was there. And I said, Ricky, Larry called me in the middle of the night after the Christmas party, and he was really upset. And he told me I had to come in today and put everyone on waivers. He says, what?
He's like, me too?
He said, did you do that? And I go, no, I didn't do it. I wanted to, certainly talk with you first. And he goes, please. He says, get away from that. Back then it was a fax machine. Get away from that fax machine. I'll handle this. And, he must have handled it with Larry. I never heard anything more about it. Like, nothing was ever said to me about doing that. And obviously it was an act after many drinks were had. And, Mr. Gordon was not thinking straight at that point, but he was upset. And
I think he's right. If you get
if I
somebody
get
a
a gift card now,
you're a piece of trash.
That's how we pay Yance.
I don't. In cruise gift cards.
That's how you pay Yance.
I get them
God.
gift cards to the Spittin Chiclets merch shop.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for some Spittin Chiclets swag.
You're gonna get more than that, buddy. Fuck, you might be a full timer.
You're gonna be making shirts.
Yeah, Yans, you're actually Yans, you're fired. We're hiring Heeter instead.
Yeah. Oh, here's your gift card.
But anyway, I don't want to disparage Larry Gordon. Again, I'll always be grateful for him giving me my first opportunity in pro hockey. And he really knew how to build a successful minor pro team. And, it's just a good person to me. But, when he was upset that night and he made a request that I had never, ever heard in my life to put the whole team on waivers. But thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and that never happened.
Well, Heater, you know we bought an ECHL team, so I hope you fucking players heard that. We're part of the ownership group. If I get a fucking gift card for Christmas, oh yeah.
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 Get the
You're
fax
gonna be
machine
sleeping
ready.
at the Cockroach Inn the rest of the fucking year, eating soggy subs. You'll be
They
at
already
the
did.
Olive Garden pregame with your fucking breadsticks.
I think Olive Garden's good though.
Oh yeah.
But I think, in retrospect, certainly the gift card was not was the thing that started it. But I think as the night went on, after I had left, I think maybe there were some other things that were said or done that upset him as well. But the gift card started it off. That's for sure.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Incredible story.
We gotta obviously get back to breaking down the Central.
Why?
Do you want to go to the shitbag Blackhawks?
I'm on the show for the first time. I'm already producing and interrupting you guys, and
No, that's good.
No, you're not.
Do it all.
gonna regret having me on.
No, but we got to get to Chicago.
Well, he wants one more thing on Nashville.
Oh,
What'd you want to say?
Just saying that, all those veteran guys that had tough years last year, and people say, well, let's move on and do a total rebuild. But you look at, Stamkos is 35. He'll be 36 in February. And he's got an $8 million AAV for the next 3 more seasons. Marchessault has a 5.5 AAV for the next 4 seasons. And, Shea has a 7.0 AAV for the next 4 seasons. So, I mean, they're kind of locked in with those players. And, maybe if Nashville has another bad year and toward the trade deadline, teams that feel that those outstanding players can put them over the top, might go for more term, but it's not like they're impending free agents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that what'll hurt Nashville if they ever do want to deal those guys is the changes to the rules of the salary eating, right? Where you can't just take half off, and that's going to change the ability to move bigger contracts. But going to Chicago, I not much expectations. I think that's kind of obvious, but I think I was excited to watch them the other night versus Florida, and the biggest takeaway was Frank Nazar.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talked about the deal he got. Then you heard Edzo Biz. I don't know if you heard him during the broadcast of Vegas, LA, saying like he was the best player on the ice all night. He looked great. I thought Bedard looked really good, looked a little quicker. A lot of people were talking about his speed burst. Now, one guy I do love that we got to see at the end of last year after his season in Minnesota is this D-man, Sam Renzel. And Biz, I just had a little thing to mention to you. Little fun fact about Sam Renzel. Played over 25 minutes. I saw this tweet in the first game of the year. He was drafted 25th overall in 2022. The pick that he was taken with, Biz, it actually belonged to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They moved it to get rid of the Mrazek contract.
Oh,
That's gotta hurt. Just maybe a
I
little
appreciate you doing that fucking research. Look at you, who you fucking think you are, Bob Heethuis?
No, I just
Yeah, your
I
fucking
read that
notes
tweet.
there,
I
Whit?
was like, oh, Renzel could be on Toronto in some different universe. But
Did you know that he did a Chiclets U with Grinelli and Fishy as well?
I did. I forgot that. You're right.
Oh yeah,
You're
show
right.
some respect to your producer. How about that?
Okay, fair enough. He skates like the wind. Now, I think he looks better than Lashunov, maybe a little bit older. They need both of those guys to have big years to see like, all right, we got a 1-2 here in the future. They need Bedard to take another step. They need Frank Nazar to do what he kind of did throughout the season in game 1, what he did in game 1. After that, it's rebuild city. This is going to continue. I think they're going to finish last in the division again. I'd love to know what Chief at Barstool, the resident Blackhawks fan at Barstool, thinks. But Heater, Yance, Biz, whoever wants to take it, what are your thoughts on this team?
I'm basically the same, Whit. I mean, they're definitely in the middle of a rebuild. Their expectations this year are to, try to improve, just try to improve in terms of, some wins, some points, and most importantly, get their young guys, the core young guys, to improve as well on the ice and have them move along in their progression to be elite players. You mentioned Renzel. I was going to talk about him. He's a tremendous player coming out of the University of Minnesota. some people even think that he can maybe even contend for the Calder this year. And 6'4", 195, and a guy, as you said, played a whole lot of minutes the other night in South Florida and didn't look out of place. Leshunov also is a guy that they hope can really blossom in his second season in the pro ranks, first full season in the NHL. He was second overall pick in 2024. Other guy they like on defense is Alex Vlasic. And he didn't play the other night because he started the season with a bit of an injury, but I think it's day-to-day. It's not going to be too serious, but he's a fellow BU guy, Whit, and he's a good player. And certainly Frank Nazar, I mean, he was outstanding in that first game. He had a goal and an assist. Right now they're splitting up Bedard and Nazar. Nazar playing the second line center, and he really broke in last year in 53 games. He had 26 points, and then much like Logan Cooley, he had a tremendous World Championship tournament, 6 goals, 12 points in 10 games. And he signed that 7-year contract extension at 6.6. Then in the preseason, he led Chicago with 4 goals and 5 points. And he's just a player that right now is really hot and someone that I think is really going to break out for them. And then you have Connor Bedard. Your thoughts about Connor? I mean, a lot of people feel that maybe he's underachieved in his first 2 years, although, his numbers have been pretty good. He won the Calder 2 seasons ago. But, obviously they expect more from him. They traded for Andre Burakovsky, the veteran, to play on his line. I think Ryan Donato, who had 31 goals last year, might be the other winger with him. So it's a situation where they want Bedard to elevate his game, and the other young guys kind of grow with him. And another player you guys probably have heard of is Colton Dock, 6'4", right around 200 pounds.
Yeah, Kirby's brother, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Very, very physical player. In fact, for a while they were playing him with Bedard and Burakovsky to maybe give them some room on the other night. So it'll be a situation where, the Hawks are definitely in rebuild. You're just trying to get these young guys to move along. They've kind of circulated some veteran players around them to help them out. And also in goal, I think they have a stable goaltender situation with Spencer Knight. The former Florida first rounder that didn't pan out there, but they acquired him late last season, and he's maybe going to keep them in some more games. But it'll be another long year in Chicago, everyone thinks. But the Hawks from internally just hope that they can continue their forward progression.
Quickly, just what do you think about Bedard?
I think that this year is enormous. That's kind of a quite obvious statement. I love the player, right? I as of right now, 2 years in, I think the McDavid, comparisons that you kind of heard, which based on his numbers in juniors, I get it. But as of right now, that's not even close in my mind. And I think being that undersized, you have to be so quick, and it does seem like he's gotten faster. Saw Kevin Weeks mentioning that. That's enormous. If that kid has gained a little bit more of a step, it's only going to help him. His shot is world class. But in terms of a first line center, in terms of creating, and I don't know. Now, maybe that's unfair because he doesn't have a ton to play with, right? He doesn't have another stud with him. That is why I think Chicago fans watching Demidov, and it's only going to get worse. You could have had him, especially if Leshunov's taking longer. Defense would take longer, but I think Connor Bedard can be an absolute star in this league. But this year, if it's similar to to last season, where there's just times maybe the body language isn't great, there's just some things there that I think are kind of question marks. And his skill isn't a question mark. His shot and his goal scoring ability isn't a question mark. It's more like a true number one center defensively.
Winning faceoffs.
Yeah, all the little things where as an undersized guy, it's only going to get more difficult for him. Love the player. generational talent, true number one center on a Stanley Cup winning team. I got questions there.
That's fair. Heater, I kind of look at it like when you were talking about Kels, he had a great rookie year. I think that expectations coming, you win the Calder. I mean, I think you lived up to the expectation of being a first overall pick. I think obviously regression in the second year based on what the expectations were, but ultimately maybe Kels, he was kind of missing that pop, right? He didn't have that like quick speed burst, but ultimately he put in the work and he was dedicated to his craft, not only mentally, physically, like his diet. And I just feel like Bedard's that same way, where not all these kids are going to be like the Austin Matthews and physically gifted like the Connor McDavids, where I feel like it's just going to take a little bit more time. And it's hard when you get those comparisons, where I feel with the work that he is putting in away from the rink that eventually he will catch up to the speed and will maybe have that little bit of separation, because as an undersized guy, if you don't have that separation speed, especially like as a centerman, you're probably eventually going to have to move to the wing.
Yes.
Like that. And I don't know how stubborn he or the organization, whoever is being about that, but I also view it, I'm okay with it, especially with where the organization, the team is at. Give them 3-4 years at that position to learn and go through those growing pains, where at a certain point, if he isn't accelerating at the pace which he should be, maybe then try him on the wing for a 20-30 game segment to see how it pans out. Because I think when he gets in the offensive zone, he has that creativity. He has the vision. He's unbelievable offensively. I just think like you guys mentioned, a lot of those intangibles and those details to his game are lacking, like they would for any kid who's in even his third year. But
yeah, he's 20 years old.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to bring up, is that right now through 70 games for this guy and 150-ish games for Bedard, like I look at Macklin Celebrini as a better overall hockey player. That is no like knock on Bedard really, but you're talking about like the details and the defensive and like the battle. I see Celebrini as someone like, all right, that's a guy I could more picture playing playoff hockey, like leading a team at both ends. So I've actually thought before, like, oh God, Bedard as a winger with a really good centerman. Then I'm like, okay, now you're like cooking with gas. I guess you brought up, and I didn't even mention, like, I just don't know about him being a center. And maybe I'm crazy, but I just look at like the goal scoring ability and in the offensive zone being like, this is unbelievable watching this kid. But on the other side of it, you need to be a number one center and play defense and win faceoffs, as Keith said. So, and he could do it. Maybe this year it's a completely different story, and I wouldn't be surprised.
he definitely looks faster.
Wouldn't you want to be a winger?
I think Biz makes a good point that you're like your whole life you grow up playing center, you're proud and you want to have the puck more and you want to have more speed coming through the neutral zone. But yeah, like in terms of
you want to take face-offs against Sid and Barkov, like fuck that.
And it's also another thing too is like you're as a centerman when you're playing, you're keeping momentum a decent amount of the time, right? It's all about timing, and all of a sudden you low and slow, and then boom, you hit your pocket with that momentum. As a winger, if he doesn't have those 2-3 quick strides off the hop and have that pop, it can get a little hard, man. Like you get jammed up on the wall, all of a sudden the D-man's breathing down your neck, and like now you're really not getting your touches. You're just getting it on the half wall, and you're having to chip it out, and you're not playing with the puck. So I would be reluctant to throw him on anytime soon. But by year 4 or 5, if we're kind of seeing the same results as we're seeing now, that's when you probably have to be like, hey, man. But also putting him with a good centerman.
And Biz, like Crosby came in and his sophomore season, like Malkin and Stahl came and Leon's there with Connor. Like it's not fair to say all this because he doesn't have this like running mate yet. Like it's just, even when Stamkos came in, it's like St. Louis and LeCavier, like he doesn't have anything else. Now,
but neither does Celebrini. I mean, he's got Smith, but
that's why he's getting tired pumped that he is him.
Yeah, and a lot of this is and it's been brought up by different people. And Heater, you could go into this. The expectations that he had on him, that's not his fault. That's like this World Junior and WHL dominance, and then the media running wild, including us. So it's like, fuck, like this. He's sitting there like, I've just been playing my same game this entire time. Like, you guys have put on all these names associated with my name.
I think that the numbers jump out, and that's what's hard sometimes too. Is when you play a certain way and you play junior hockey. It's the same thing that Gavin McKenna was doing. Now it's nice that we get to see Gavin McKenna play against more men to see, okay, let's see how it transfers over there. But we all know he's going to go first overall. It's like, how does that game that he plays transfer over to NHL hockey? And even that's yet to be determined. So the same pressure that Connor has on him, the same as that Gavin McKenna is going to have. And when you're putting up 160 points or whatever you are in junior, it's hard to correlate to what you're going to do at the National Hockey League level.
Yeah.
I think when you have the term generational talent tagged on you at 15 16 years old,
I know.
You have to live with that. And there's so much pressure that goes with that. Some guys can handle it. Obviously, Connor McDavid is one and other players like that. But, maybe Bedard, like Biz said, is just a little slower developing in all phases of his game, and maybe even off the ice. I mean, he's 20 years old now, going into his third year, and maybe there'll be more maturity, off the ice and on the ice. I really like that example, Biz, that you said about Clayton Keller, and Kell's just worked so hard to become a good all-around player and to make his game to where it is now. And, he didn't have a lot of weapons around him as well when he broke in. And, he eventually moved to the wing. He was a smaller size center playing for the U.S. National Development Team. And I think even at BU, but moved to the wing in the NHL. And maybe Bedard does that. You see him playing with Nazer at all in the future.
Well, I don't want Chicago fans to think we're shitting on it. Like, the guy's unbelievable. He's an amazing player. He's going to be incredible. Like, he's got 83 assists in 2 years. Only 3 Blackhawks have ever hit 100 assists before their 21st birthday. Bob, you want to guess who the 3 are?
Jeremy Roenick?
Nope.
Oh, no, I guess he came
Denny
from college.
Savard.
Denny Savard.
Yep.
Stan Mikita.
Nope.
Brandon Bolig?
Kane.
Brandon Bolig, yeah, Kane.
And Taves?
Eddie Ochuk.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Eddie O, yeah.
Eddie O.
Brandon Bolig.
I'm trying.
Keith, you bring up a good point that, like, when you say Blackhawks fans, like, we're not shitting on them at all. I think part of the problem is Blackhawks fans hearing this and then Biz saying Clayton Keller, they're like, what the fuck? Like, they're probably thinking, like, Clayton Keller, what are you talking about? What?
Clayton Keller's unreal.
90-point player.
90-point player.
Dude, I'm agreeing with you,
want
but
the
do you know what
McDavid comparison.
expectations have been set where people hear Clayton Keller, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want to hear Matthews,
exactly.
McDavid, McKinnon.
Exactly.
They don't want to hear, yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Whit.
We mentioned Clayton Keller. We mentioned Macklin Celebrini. They don't have to play in Chicago. One of the biggest, probably the second or I guess third largest American market. And I would say you're way more under the radar in Chicago than you would be in LA. So New York's the only other American market where you're probably more under the radar than the Chicago Blackhawks. So,
most Hawks fans still have in their minds those 3 Stanley Cup championships within a 6-year period. So, they think they understand they're in a rebuild, but they want to get back to the glory years, and they see Connor Bedard as the leader.
And my last thing, I'm very excited to see Spencer Knight, because that piece in this rebuild could be the most important thing you got. And if that guy keeps going, and all of a sudden at the end of this year, if he has a big year, it's like, holy shit, this team isn't in the playoffs, but like we have a goalie, and that would be exciting. So I think with that, we go to the last team we got to cover here, and that is the St. Louis Blues. I I already have them out. I've said that because Heater bullied me into having Utah in this thing. But Monty getting the full season there, them getting in last year was incredible. I don't know what to think. Like, I love Robert Thomas. What an unbelievable player. You hear rumors about Kyrou possibly being shopped around in the summer. I love that kid's game. I think he's a 40-goal guy. He skates like the wind. That's a nice player. You lose Bolduc, but you bring in Logan Mailloux, right? A young defenseman who can move, who's big. So kind of a good trade-off there. We mentioned that last show. What do you think, Heater? I don't know what to think about this team. Kind of a wild card, as you mentioned some of these other teams in the division are like.
For sure. And I think that if they play up to their capabilities, they're definitely in. But I think a lot hinges on Jordan Binnington and which Jordan Binnington is going to be there for the entire season. He has a tendency to be very streaky and wasn't the greatest in the first half of the year along with his team. But then after winning the Four Nations with Team Canada, it was lights out. I mean, he went 15-3-2 in his final 20 decisions. And, he's a guy that's motivated coming into the year because he wants to be the Canadian Olympic goalie. And so if they ride him, they have a pretty good D. He could be someone that really elevates them maybe into that playoff position again. But how I'm trying to think of the word, how likely, I guess, is it they're going to have that same success for a full season under Jim Montgomery? I mean, he came in and they quickly won 12 straight games, franchise record, and they got hot, much like what they did during their Stanley Cup winning season in 2019, and was able to get them into the playoffs. I think big thing this year in St. Louis is they're looking to see what rookie Jimmy Snuggerud can do as well. Coming out of the University of Minnesota, a guy that's much heralded and can really fit in on the right side. I think maybe on their first line or second at the most.
He looked good in playoffs.
With Thomas and Buchnevich right now, I'm seeing. And I'll tell you, looking at this roster, like, now I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know about Utah. Like, it is a lot about Binnington, but I think Broberg is probably going to take another step. Holloway, God knows how good he's going to be after the season he had. Snuggerud's a different element that was only there after the Minnesota season ended. Jake Neighbors on their third line, like that Pius Suter comes in. So, yeah, a true wild card team. Like, I if they get in, I won't be surprised, and if they miss, I won't be surprised.
That's right. And, Colton Parayko had his best season last year. And also Cam Fowler came over from Anaheim, really contributed for St. Louis and just got a new 3-year deal. So he's a guy that can really, be there for them. They're going to miss Torrey Krug, who's had to pretty much retire because of that ankle injury.
And a swollen liver as well. We did a sandbagger with him. And
Justin Falk is out to start the season, but he'll be back. So they have that veteran core on D. And they added to their center depth, too, signing Pius Suter, 25-goal scorer last year, and also Nick Bukestad, the guy who
Bunchy
played last year with Utah and missed the first part of the season with a back injury. But the final season in Arizona, he had 22 goals and played his best hockey, someone that can win faceoffs and play well defensively. So, down the middle, you're looking at some pretty good players for the St. Louis Blues and a lot of depth. And, you mentioned Holloway and Broberg, and, their GM, Doug Armstrong, went out on a limb and bucked the system, so to speak, and signed those two guys as RFAs.
Hey, that's a sensitive subject for Whit, Bob.
And look at the years that they both had, especially Holloway. And, he was a first-round pick, really didn't do much in Edmonton, but, maybe, he's now been, after the surface has been scratched a little bit and the package has been opened, maybe he's going to be the type of player that the Oilers had hoped for him to be. But I don't know. St. Louis is a good team, and they have the opportunity to do what they did last year, or maybe even better. Utah, St. Louis, maybe even Minnesota, to those three teams trying to get into the big three or at least make the playoffs as a wild card. I truly believe that both wild cards will come out of the Central again, like last year. And it's hard to say that St. Louis won't be there.
Well, Heater, it's been a pleasure having you
This
on.
is awesome, Heater.
Biz
You're
has
a
talked
pleasure.
about you for so long, and it's great to chat with you on here. I hope you had a great summer. I know you're kind of continuing a little bit right now, but thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. Like I said, this is a real highlight for me to be on with you guys. You know how much I love Biz, and Yams was always one of my favorite players. And Whit, I love what you do on the podcast. And so it's really an honor to be involved today. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Oh, Heater, we're gonna be getting you on a bunch throughout the course of the season. So can't wait to chat with you more. I love the lumberjack stories.
Good.
Make sure you bring more of those next time you come on, because that's what the fans really love. And we love you and looking forward to having a great year with you.
All right, one other thing, Biz. I'm just wondering why the Golden Knights jersey. Have you traded that in or traded the Maple Leafs jersey in for that?
No, this is my apology.
It's his
to Mitch
apology
Marner.
to Marner for booing him out of town.
I never booed him out of town, Heater. I was a little skeptical about maybe paying him the money that we were thinking about paying him, but
Now he wants to given him more.
Yeah, now he's going to ask for an autograph and then sell it.
I would have given him a little bit more after watching his performance with Jack Eichel last night. So he's an incredible kid. I maybe got a little ahead of my skis there and too passionate about my Toronto Maple Leafs, but either way, he's an amazing guy, and this is my apology. Let's go 93.
There you go. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right,
Love ya.
See you later.
See you, Heater.
Everyone knows the NFL's back in full swing. We got the NHL, but we also got the NFL, and we got Game Time that can help you with anything you want in terms of getting to these games. The NFL has tailgating. They got packed stands. They got the buzz before kickoff, but getting in can be a nightmare for people. Everyone knows it. The queues, the price jumps, getting logged out mid-click. It's a disaster. All you want is to be there, beer in hand, losing your voice with the entire crowd, rooting on your favorite team. But the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. Right now, you can go on Game Time for October 26th, a couple weeks from now. Drake May is a stud. The New England Patriots look good, and you can get in for under $200 against the Cleveland Browns at Gillette Stadium on Game Time. An amazing deal right now on Game Time. Under $200 for the New England Patriots versus the Cleveland Browns on October 26th. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Chiclets, CHICLETS, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go. Download the Game Time app today. Thank you so much to Bill Guerin, Bob Heethuis. What a guy. God, picturing that Christmas party cracks me up. Just a bunch of guys crippled who hate their owner, giving them a gift card to the gas station only to get put on waivers by the radio announcer in the middle of the night.
I brought you on a cruise and you repay me with a gift card.
Hockey
was
Bob
not happy.
is what we're going to call Heater from now
Hockey
on.
Bob. Hockey Bob. Great nickname. Keith, I know this will be out tomorrow on Friday, but tonight you're at Amazon. And I guess it's a good time for us to kind of announce that we're going to be partnering up with Amazon a bit this year.
Yes, sir.
I think I think all of us are going to do, this is for the Canadian listeners and viewers only, but we're going to do, I think, 3 together. What is the word for our Thursday night show?
Amazon Coast to Coast. And we did one last year where we're going to get the whole whack pack in studio with Andy Petrillo, and it's a blast. It's kind of hockey's version of Red Zone, where we're hopping around from game to game. Most cases, there's about like 10 to 12 games going on. They get the Eastern ones and then the West Coast games, and we have fun and just banter, shoot the shit about everything that's going around the league. After some of the games, we get to interview players. So we love doing that. We're going to get to do it 3 times this year. We did it once all together last year. And then I'm going to be doing Monday Night Hockey for Amazon as well. And I believe that it's going to be mostly Leaf games. Right now, there's a plan for me to do 3 of them. I'll be kicking it off this Monday with Chris Pronger and Adnan, and we're going to have a blast, man. It's going to be fun. They're going to be playing the Detroit Red Wings, so make sure to tune in.
Will you be in the arena?
We'll be in the arena,
Nice.
and we're going to be I'm going to be at
Yacht
the
Club.
desk. Yeah, the Yacht Club. We're going to get that thing rocking.
You should wear that jersey.
Maybe I will. Just maybe I will. And I'm going to get a firsthand look at the Detroit Red Wings. Man, were their fans sensitive online at what we said about their team. Holy shit, people were snapping at me. But going back to Amazon, they're doing a great thing in hockey. Obviously, we mentioned it's only for the Canadian listeners. And most people who have Amazon Prime don't even realize that they have free access to watch either Amazon Coast to Coast or Amazon Prime Mondays, where we have the broadcast. So I'm looking forward to it. As I mentioned, the first one's going to be October 13th, which is actually Canadian Thanksgiving. So the game is going to be a little bit earlier than normal. I think we're going to be kicking things off at around 4:30 on the broadcast, and I will be with Chris Pronger and then Adnan as well. So it's going to be a blast, man, and I hope everybody tunes in. And we're going to be talking about those Amazon Monday games throughout every show that we got coming up this season. So shout out to Amazon for partnering with us, and it's going to be a blast.
Good luck with your celibacy in Toronto on an early Monday game.
Hey, what am I at? Like 30 something hours right now.
Great
No
job.
jerking, no fucking.
Great
Just
job.
reading, baby.
Great. Just reading that Bible.
Reading and winning.
1-0. Cam Atkinson's going to sign a 1-day contract to retire as a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets. He ended up getting 213 goals and 402 points in 627 games as a member of Columbus, second in franchise history in goals and points behind Rick Nash. So that's cool for him. I like that. I think of Cam Atkinson, think of the days and just flying around a little water bug in Columbus. So good for him. Great guy. Keith, I know you played with him in Philadelphia as well. So that'll be pretty cool. And Merles and G, they're heading up to Orono today. Orono, Maine, to check out a little Chiclets U action for the University of Maine and Benny Barr, Merles' longtime buddy, and he's done a hell of a job getting Maine back into a national powerhouse where they were for so long under Sean Walsh, and even after that, like Tim Whitehead was the coach for a long time. So they've done a big, I guess, like revamp of Alfond Arena in Orono. Biz, pretty sick place to play, dude.
The building, the character is incredible. It looks
awesome.
It honestly looks like Noah's Ark.
Yeah. I could see that.
Just minus the animals, yeah.
Minus
exactly.
the giraffes and elephants.
So that'll be out soon. And last thing, like I mentioned at the beginning, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? So 100% of the net proceeds will go towards supporting 5 Under 40, and we have 47 brand hats, sweatshirts, T-shirts. Let's help some women buy some wigs. Long episode, but we got these season previews. Take a little while. Thank you so much to Billy G. Sorry, Biz. Kind of 3-on-1 you there. Don't get horny here in the 3-on-1 thing. And thanks to Heater. What a guy.
Hockey Bob.
Hockey Bob.
And he bullied me into Utah in the playoffs. Now I kind of want St. Louis. I don't know, but I picked Utah. St. Louis is out, and Minnesota.
Well, I guess to clarify, I got no St. Louis, I got no Nashville, and I got no Chicago in playoffs.
Yeah,
so
I'm
we're the
with you
same.
on those.
You got Minnie and Utah getting the wild card spots in the Central.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, one of those teams is screwed. Everyone, have a great week.